Hans Neiman yesterday. Can you tell us why he did that?
Not really, no. It's surprising decisions to me as well, perhaps to some extent. But also, I respect his choice not to talk about it. And if someone from Team Magnus should
read
talk
Discord?
about it,
Oh, what am I supposed to read in Discord?
Yeah, I suspected that, of course. So resigning yesterday, was that not something he had talked about with you?
Again, well, it didn't come as a surprise to me. Let's put it like that.
Yeah.
But again, it's I mean, I'm employed by Magnus, and I think it's important to respect the privacy he has as a coach and the sort of confidentiality in talking to me. So I'm not really going to tell you anything there.
Yeah, I did suspect that. I will also ask you though: are you suspecting Hans Neiman of cheating?
Again, it's not something I have thought a lot about. I'm known to be the last one to realize these things. I'm famous for having written a chess column where I say that it doesn't look like Fella was cheating at the chess Olympiad, which he obviously was and was caught. So I generally try to expect the best of people.
That's nice to hear. Now, Peter, I understand that.
Oh my God! What is this? This is pretty funny. I mean, this is pretty funny, actually.
There's not much you can say about this situation in specific.
You guys can hear it, right? I think sound is
what
good.
Magnus is doing. So, can I ask you, regardless of that situation, the whole world is just talking about cheating in chess. So, in general, do you think cheating is a big problem in chess?
Well, it's a big problem in the sense that we don't know if it's widespread, how widespread it is. It's a problem that we don't know, are we capable of detecting it or not.
True.
Well, my
very
first
true.
World Championship as a second was 2005, where I was Vichy Adam's coach in San Luis in Argentina. And there was pretty wild speculation when Topalov won the tournament and started with 6.5 out of 7. And well, that some people said it openly, even as far as I remember. And well, it's been an ongoing theme, and it's going to be bigger, obviously, with computers becoming stronger and smaller. So that is quite a thing. I've also
he's not wrong, by the way. Just to pause for a second to give you guys some context. I might have the year wrong, but I think it was 2005. There was essentially the equivalent of a Canada's tournament at the time, but because the World Championship, they were just getting like a United World Champion at the time. This Canada's tournament which had 14 players, or not 14 players, sorry. I think it still had 7. I think it had 7 or 8 players, 8 players, right? So you play others. Yeah, so it was 8 players, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And the winner of that tournament was considered the world champ. So Topalov started off with 6.5 out of 7. And I remember this very well, San Luis in Argentina. And the reason I remember this very well because at the time, like, there was a lot of speculation. Like, there were people who were saying that, like, Topalov, he was playing every round at like the same board, so there might be something with like the board or something, whatever, because he was always playing the same board. So after I think like round 7 or 8, they switched it so he wasn't playing on the same board. That's the first thing. But I think there were a lot of GMs who were saying this, like, something seemed off. Of course, again, nothing happened, obviously, but he is right when he brings this up. And the irony to this, by the way, the thing that makes this really funny is that I think 1 year later, I think it was 2006 or 2007, Vladimir Kramnik and Veselin Topalov played a world championship match, and in that match Topalov accused Kramnik of cheating when he went to the restroom. So it's pretty funny, actually, because it's like Topalov gets accused and then he accuses someone else, and it's just, yeah, pretty good stuff. So let's keep going.
Interest, for instance, seen Ken Regan's interviews and podcasts and things like that. But well, obviously, it's a pity if that becomes the narrative of chess. Like, for instance, for quite a while, for cycling, it was the narrative that people was debating that, and that, of course, is not ideal. But well, it is not a new topic in chess. It's been going on for a long time, no doubt about that. I mean, 2005 with Topalov, then the Kramnik Topalov match, for instance, but there is numerous examples.
Hi, Peter.
Hi.
One thing chess has taught me is to always keep an open mind, not to rush to conclusions. But I guess it's been an emotional time for everyone. There's lots of people on social media taking sides right now. I mean, yeah, what would you say to them? I mean, people who are maybe criticizing Magnus, or people who are the opposite, who are kind of assuming that there is evidence when nothing's been shown so far?
Well, it's normal that it becomes an emotional topic and an important topic. This was also the case when we have seen similar discussions in the past, is my opinion. I don't have much to say to them. They will probably find other people to talk about. It seems like a subject a lot of people are willing to talk about, actually, and that's it's good. It's something that should be debated in the chess world, no doubt about it.
True.
Absolutely. Do you think FIDE and tournament organizers, are they doing enough?
It's hard to say. It's not an. I mean, I think we do face a problem that no one is a full expert of every aspect of it. I mean, Ken Regan, for instance, is an amazing statistician, and he has done, I mean, I'm sure he's the leading expert on the subject. When he talks about statistics, it's extremely hard for me to follow and understand the things, because he's an expert, and most chess grandmasters barely have education, because we actually have to care about.
Oh my god, did he really just say that, by the way? That is hilarious. Oh my gosh.
It's extremely hard for me to follow and understand the things, because he's an expert, and most chess grandmasters barely have education, because we actually had to care about chess.
Oh my god, that is so classic. That is so good. Oh man. Oh man. So hey, you guys, we're all uneducated. So it's kind of funny, actually, because the way that he says that, you know, there's the good old myth that everybody's aware of, which is, you know, chess players were geniuses, we're really, really smart. And here he is saying, yeah, chess players have no education. That's great. Let's keep going.
While some of the chess thoughts he has is not genuinely accurate, in my opinion. And I think, well, I think we lack expertise on this field that covers all angles together in a way. And it's a subject that I don't know much about, to be honest. Generally, I'm happy to try and be an expert on everything. But this one is very complicated for me. And I think, I mean, Regan does a very good job of trying to explain certain things, but well, if his methods works and things like that, I'm simply not capable of understanding it. I don't have enough knowledge of it, and that's of course a problem if people don't feel that they understand the topic properly.
Yeah, that's a good point. Now, my final question on this topic. So the chess world is screaming for some...
So let me pause for a second just to explain. Basically, as I understand what Peter's saying, and of course I can talk about Ken Regan as well and what he's doing. What Peter is essentially saying in plain English is very straightforward. He's saying that statistically, there's nothing that stands out in terms of the moves or the games. But because Ken Regan is not a strong chess player or grandmaster, there's certain moves or certain sort of... the way that you come to certain conclusions about moves or sequences of moves is something that Ken Regan cannot understand because he's not a strong enough chess player. That's what he's saying. So he's saying that essentially statistically there might be nothing there, but Ken Regan is an expert statistically, he is not an expert on the chess likes. He's not a strong enough chess player. So there's some aspect there that's missing. That's what he's saying. In plain English, that's very clearly what he's saying, even if he's trying not to. Ken Regan is I believe he's a professor at the University of Buffalo, if I'm not mistaken. He's an amateur chess player who has done a lot of statistics around cheating. But again, we'll get to all of that a little bit later on.
Will we hear from Magnus Carlsen? Do you know if there is a plan for him to make a comment on the situation?
No, I don't know, and if I know, I wouldn't tell you probably. But no.
Oh my gosh! Wow, this just keeps getting better and better. Hey, I mean, if I know, I'm still not going to tell you anything.
That's up to Magnus, I think. So I'm not planning to ask him, and then I'm trying to help him as well I can with the chess, that side is doing okay at the moment, is my impression.
Yeah, and that's not the only drama around Magnus Carlsen this year. Obviously, a few months ago, he announced he's not going to play the next World Championship match. What was your reaction when he told you?
That he told me and the team over a long period. I mean, even before we started preparing for the match, he told me that most likely this is going to be the last one. So I was, emotionally prepared for that, and if anything, I tried to enjoy the match more simply because I understood that this has been a huge part of my life and something that's incredibly interesting, and this might be it. So, and he also told it to the team, and I think we all had this idea that, well, this is the last time with the guys, and let's try and enjoy it. Let's try and have fun, and obviously let's try and win as well. But putting that aside, I think we tried to have an extra nice time. Well, of course, it was not sort of definitive decision from Magnus, so you never know. So you can argue that maybe there was a bit of relief when you finally knew, in a way. Maybe that, well, I felt very sure he was not gonna change his mind, but everybody else in the world seems to think that he was bluffing. So at least it was good that the rest of the world had their view corrected, so we could talk about the same thing in that way.
True,
but,
true.
Well, obviously it's for chess, it's kind of sad that both
looking
in the
at me
section with Huyefan or in the open section with Magnus, that the strongest chess player in the world chooses not to play the world championship. That's not how it ideally should be, but I understand both their decisions, and obviously Magnus's as well.
Yeah. And now in this tournament, Julius Baer Generation Cup, his next game is against Vasily Ivanchuk, starting in a few seconds. That is a very cool matchup. The chess world is really looking forward to that. What do you think, Peter?
Well, incredibly. I mean, I was Magnus' second. I've forgotten Linares maybe 16 years ago. And he had some amazing games with Ivanchuk, who would completely outplay Magnus strategically. And Magnus would hang in there, and Ivanchuk would be absolutely frustrated and not managing to win these games. And maybe he even lost one of them. I mean, people can look them up in their database. I mean, these were great clashes. And that they now play again, you know, half a life later for Magnus is amazing. And, well, it really warms my heart that Ivanchuk is getting to play here. He gets to play some tournament because we all know that he's locked inside with his country due to the tragic situation there. So, I mean, I'm very happy to see Ivanchuk doing well, and I even brought a shirt to support him, although, of course, as Magnus' coach, I have to hope that Magnus does well in this actual game.
And we can see now that Ivanchuk has played pawn d4 in his first move. What kind of a plan do you and Magnus have in this game?
I think generally my concept is that when
C4 resigns.
When the guy I'm coaching plays Ivanchuk, I'm not capable of predicting what Ivanchuk does. I think 1 point with Vishian, and then
anyway, C4 was played in the game, by the way. It was played. I mean, I can move my cam for a second just so you guys can see it. But yeah, C4 was played in the game, which is pretty funny. Let me just go back just so you guys can let me go forward just so you guys can see the board actually, because it was like right here. 1 second. Oh, apparently I went back too far. So yeah, just so you see the board.
Of course, as Magnus' coach,
yeah,
I have to hope that Magnus does well in this actual game.
And we can see now that Ivanchuk has played pawn d4 in his first move. What kind of a plan do you and Magnus have in this game?
I think generally my concept is that when I play, the guy I'm coaching plays Ivanchuk, I'm not capable of predicting what
C4
Ivanchuk
is a
does.
brilliant
I think
move, yeah.
1 point with Vishian, and then in Bilbao in a tournament, I checked that Ivanchuk had played 15 different openings.
Anyway.
E4. So I prepared something for everything, and he played opening number 16 against Vichy. And after that experience, I just realized I cannot predict Ivanchuk. And yeah, that's life.
So are you just going to lean back now, Peter, and enjoy this great game between two legends?
I think so. I think this is a game that should be enjoyed for a lot of reasons. So yeah. I will do that.
Definitely. Peter, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your thoughts. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Take good care.
Yeah, so anyway, actually, I realized I should leave my cam over here because probably most of the clips are going to have like some kind of chessboard in them, so I'll leave it here until we have to change it. But yeah, so essentially, as I see it, I mean, not a whole lot is said. Not a whole lot is said in general about like what is believed or isn't believed. But my one takeaway from this interview with Peter Heine Nielsen about the whole situation is that there is definitely something that he's unsure about, because he refers to Ken Regan. He talks about what was said. Now, again, for context, for people who are wondering, Ken Regan, as I said, he's a professor at University of Buffalo, statistician. He essentially is the foremost expert on cheating in chess. I guess you could say at the moment, it's not something where we have a lot of people who are doing it, to be completely fair, because it takes a lot of time. It's a very thankless task. You don't get paid or anything like that. So he is the foremost expert on it, but it's very clear that he's saying there's that while there's nothing statistically, there are certain things on the chess side that don't add up. That's how I view it very clearly in plain English. That's how I view it. But isn't Ken Regan an IM? Ken Regan is an IM. He is a very strong player, obviously, but that's not it's not comparable to Super GM. So that's my general read, is that basically Peter's saying that there's certain things that you just can't understand at a certain level. That's what he's saying. Plain and simple. So yeah, it's a good interview. Obviously, it's not a whole lot of set objective. That's the only real takeaway that I have there in general terms. He's educated, so he's not a real chess player. Very funny, you guys. Very funny. All right, so again, before we keep going, let me take one quick look. Tournament does end. Let me change the scene just so we can see it. And the grand winner, of course, is myself, Grandmaster Hikaru. I get the win with 9.5 out of 11. Pick up my $1,000 weekly stipend. And we will, of course, play the second one later. But we get the win with 9.5 out of 11, so not bad. All right, let's move along. Let me change the scene, of course, and I have a whole spreadsheet here that I have to that I have with a bunch of stuff we're going to cover. So before we get right into everything, obviously, as we know, there was drama around Magnus Carlsen losing to Hans Neiman in the Singfield Cup about 2 weeks ago now, I think it was. After that, there was this whole explosion of speculation, the Mourinho tweet, I'll be in trouble if I speak, and all this other stuff. And of course, it had somewhat subsided and Twitch drama had taken over until yesterday, when Magnus decided to resign after playing his first move in the Julius Baer Generational Cup. So we are going to jump right into it. So again, as I said, much of this stuff I thought had kind of died out, and then it just started ramping up again yesterday after what happened. So okay, so let's keep going. We have, what is this? What is this? Is this another YouTube video?
If you're standing up, you're going to want to sit down. You're going to want to take a seat for this.
So what is... Oh, is this a
If you're standing up, you're going to want to
video.
sit down. You're going to want to take a seat for this news. It's hard-hitting. Like getting a call that Meemaw slipped and fell, except this isn't sad news. This is truly just baffling news. Right now in the chess community, there is a cheating scandal that's been going on for a couple weeks now that is so nefarious and so dubious, it'll have you questioning everything in your life. You won't know what's real and what's fake anymore once I reveal this to you. You'll start wondering if your parents are even your real biological parents, you know? It's going to change your universe, you know? You'll start wondering, is the queen even dead?
Oh my god, Charlie is so good. This is hilarious. Yeah, am I even real? I know, am I even real? What's real in this world anymore, right? What's real? Yeah.
Goes so deep beyond chess. Like, I don't care if you have no interest in chess whatsoever. I really think this cheating scandal is still going to be captivating to you. Now, if you watch my streams, twitch.tv/moistcritical, feel free to stop in, stream every day, put a few extra inches on your penis. I've been following this since it happened, since ground zero, patient zero. The day that this began, I was actively following it on stream and going over everything as it developed. Mm-hmm. And now we've reached the point where it's spiraled so far out of control that it's just inducing madness. I feel like that scene in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia where he's got like the corkboard with all of the evidence and everything pointing to one name, Pepe Silvia. Like, it's become so convoluted and crazy. I just need to give you a quick spoiler to get you hooked on this story. The cheating allegations involve high-tech anal beads vibrating in a chess grandmaster's ass to transmit the best possible moves in order to win a match.
Oh, God. Oh.
That's the level of wildness we're dealing with here. I can't wait to share it, so let's get into it. I can't show any clips from the actual chess tournament where all this took place, or even subsequent clips of interviews, because as I understand it, they're very strict with that. So I'm just going to have to paint a picture with words and show you some corresponding tweets and articles and everything. So in a nutshell, what happened is the #1 chess player in the world, Magnus Carlsen, was competing in a tournament and was facing off against Hans Neiman, a very strong grandmaster, however not nearly to the level of Magnus Carlsen. This should have been an absolute steamroll. Everyone expected Magnus to just blue waffle Hans here. Just kind of a throwaway, especially considering that Magnus Carlsen was playing the
As I understand, they're very strict,
those that are familiar with chess, white pieces move first. And in the upper echelon of chess, that's a difference maker. It's a huge advantage. So you have the best player in the world with an advantage facing off against the lowest rated player in the tournament. You'd expect a fat W from Magnus here. But that's not the result that we got in this dimension. I'm sure in every other multiverse out there, Hans Neiman lost this match. But in this one, the one that we currently reside, Hans Neiman won. He beat Magnus Carlsen. So that alone was enough to raise eyebrows. But what set off the cheating allegations and all of this speculation was the subsequent interview. When Hans Neiman was interviewed about this absolutely colossal triumph, he gave a questionable interview that was a little weird, kind of all over the place. And you'd expect that because he's young. Hans Neiman is a 19-year-old kid. You know, he's not like a chiseled old veteran. You know, he doesn't have like a graying goatee. He's not like a fucking Master Roshi or anything. Like, so you'd kind of expect him to be a little scatterbrained here, which is what I thought. You know, now granted, I'm not like a chess authority. I'm not a top player. I'm a fucking tiny pea-brained 1100 player. But even still, you know, it's a young man who just pulled off one of the biggest upsets in chess history. I wouldn't have expected him to give a fully buttoned-up interview and analysis. But during the interview, he said that he actually studied the line Magnus played against him beforehand, which was setting off all kinds of alarm bells. Now, keep in mind, this is a massive upset. The chess community was more willing to believe the Earth was flat than believe Magnus Carlsen lost with the white pieces. So they were already a little on edge with some question marks, and when Hans Neiman said that he had actually studied Magnus's line, everyone immediately flocked to the chess database to see when Magnus played this
Master
line
Hikaru, yeah,
it seems
totally.
he'd only ever played it once. So a lot of people were questioning, why would Hans Neiman study this line when it's not something Magnus is known for? It's not something he's ever really played before. Why would Hans Neiman have just studied this right before the tournament? So then they start picking apart the interview and noticing that some of the things Hans was saying weren't fully correct. And keep in mind, these aren't just like normal spectators. I'm talking grandmasters. Like the best of the best chess players were all opining on this situation and giving their perspective on it. And then Magnus Carlsen made this tweet, which really set everything off.
Yes.
Magnus Carlsen announced that he was withdrawing from the tournament following his loss to Hans Neiman, and then posted that very famous YouTube clip of the coach saying, if I say anything, I'm going to be in trouble, so I'm not going to say anything.
True.
And obviously this is an insinuation of foul play. That's how the chess community took it. That's how pretty much any sensible person would take it. Him tweeting this out with the, if I say anything, I'm in trouble, and withdrawing, immediately had everyone believing that Magnus Carlsen was softly accusing Hans of cheating. Following this, the biggest chess streamer in the world, Hikaru Nakamura,
wasn't expecting to see
explained
myself
on
in this.
stream that Hans Neiman had actually been banned from chess.com before for cheating during some matches. Shortly after all the cheating accusations came to light, Hans Neiman was then banned from chess.com. So, now you're all caught up to speed on what exactly happened, but you're questioning, how could he have possibly cheated? And that's where this conspiracy goes fucking insano style. The leading theory across all of the major outlets is Hans Neiman was using anal beads that vibrated to instruct him what moves to make against Magnus Carlsen in the match. I'm not fucking kidding. This is the leading theory on how Hans Neiman cheated against Magnus Carlsen. So in order to fully digest this entree, I'm going to need to explain how cheating in chess can possibly work. A lot of them are galaxy brain schemes. Now, for those that aren't familiar with chess, there's engines. There's
and just to be clear,
chess bots that
just to be clear, you guys, to be clear, this theory, it's not actually a leading theory, but this theory originated in the chat of the Chess Bros, which is, it was a joke that turned into theory, mainly because even though the Bros reacted, I mean, Eric reacted to it, it was all fun and games and something of a quiet joke until, of course, the richest man in the world, and probably most powerful man in some ways, at least on social media, decided to retweet it, and that's when everything just broke. All hell broke loose, as we would say. Like, it wasn't even the Chess Bros reacting. It's that when Elon Musk saw it and retweeted, because I think he saw it from Live first, that's when everything just like boom, just exploded out of this world.
Will always know the best possible moves in any given situation, any position on the board. One of them is called Stockfish. So Stockfish has actually been modified in order to fit in someone's shoe. And this was tested by an independent player who put the Stockfish bot in his shoe. He calls it Sockfish. And it was able to transmit the best possible moves for his match. And it worked to a pretty decent degree of success, though, of course...
This is news to me. I was not aware of this. Really? So there was some Stockfish thing where in the shoe? I had not even ever heard of this. Wow, okay.
But the technology does exist. It worked by sending pulsing to his foot that would basically work like Morse code. So it would pulse and tell him what position to move what piece and where. So pretty fucking cool. Now, obviously, that's illegal. You can't sneak a chess bot to play for you. It's cheating. But I think the point of this experiment was to show that it is possible. And he didn't do this in like a legitimate match. He revealed to his opponent, who found it humorous. But it is pretty impressive technology. So it's not far-fetched to think that anal beads couldn't accomplish the same thing as James Stanley's sockfish. If you take the same idea, where you take stockfish in the Raspberry Pi for the shoe and use it for your asshole, it could send vibrations or pulses through your rectum and work the same way as sockfish. It would vibrate your colon in a way that would tell you the position to move on the board. So it can exist. Like, it's not super far-fetched. Like, we're not in the realm of sci-fi. It's not a fantasy. You could technically make some kind of butt plug that runs stockfish and just have it vibrate Morse code for where you should move your pieces. It can, theoretically exist.
Right.
Now, whether or not Hans Neiman had a butt plug or anal beads in that did this, it's up for anyone's guess. Only God knows, and only Hans Niemann's butthole knows. The thing with chess cheating is you can never be 100% sure either way. Because for a grandmaster to cheat, they'd only really need to hear one thing, a cough, that indicates there's a tactic.
This is true, actually. This is
anything,
true.
because they're all so good. If they just have even the slightest hint that there's something there, they will find it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So no one's 100% sure how prevalent cheating is. However, there's only been a few cases of cheating being caught at the top level. The most famous being about a decade ago during an Olympiad. There was a very high IQ plot to cheat where the teammate would send a coded text to another teammate, and then they would sit at a particular table which corresponded to a position on the board. And judging by where they were sitting,
this is good research that he did this.
To make fundamentally. So by changing where they were sitting, they were transmitting information to the player, which obviously isn't allowed. Very galaxy brain shit, but this was caught and they did receive punishment for it. So yeah, it has happened before, but it's not something common. Now let's get back into this case specifically. Hans Neiman has been very outspoken. He's addressed all the rumors and every outlandish claim imaginable. He's been very open with everything. Now I want to give my personal perspective here, and I've talked about it on stream. I don't think Hans Neiman cheated. I really don't. The security was super tight at this event, and they were very thorough with their checks. In chess, they have checks to make sure that you're not smuggling in anything illegal or anything unsavory, unprofessional. Nothing that would give you an advantage. So during the beginning of this match, I can't show you the clip, but I'll show you a quick picture. They had a...
So, I mean, this is one thing that I will say. Like again, Charlie, I mean, of course, this is obviously a fairly comical video. Like, it's hard to, of course, be super serious about it. But the one thing that Charlie does get wrong here is he does refer to the scans and all these other things. But this only happened after the game against Magnus. So it was not in place until that round. Now, that's not to suggest anything, but to be clear, the security measures that were super tough. Okay, you guys are going to make jokes about, okay. The security was much stricter. Okay, let's put it that way. Much stricter after the day he played Magnus, to be clear. So that's not to say anything happened, but the change happened after after the game against Magnus. Okay,
a guy with a wand scanning Hans's entire body, top to bottom, even going as far as to investigate his gum, even checking his shoes, probably looking for sockfish, checking every nook and cranny of Hans Niemann's body without actually doing a cavity search. He didn't give him like the Naruto 1,000 years of pain up the asshole or anything, but he came pretty close, and he didn't find anything. So I just think it's highly unlikely Hans Neiman was able to pull a fast one on the chess organization.
So Charlie's, they never checked his shoes. Actually, this is another thing that I will say, because I have played in St. Louis since this happened. Now, obviously, the event I played in was 960 chess, and it was much more casual, much more relaxed atmosphere, of course. But it is true that they do not check your shoes. I do think that in the future, and actually the reason the shoes thing is important to note, it's very important to note, is because there was another cheating scandal where there was this player, I think he was from Bulgaria, or maybe it was Belarus, and his name I think was Borislav Ivanov, and basically they never figured out how he was cheating, but he had something in his shoe, because at some point he was having really good results. They asked him to like take off his shoes, and they wanted to look at shoes, and he refused to do it. So of course he was, I believe, forfeited from the tournament. But it had something to do with his shoes. So that's why it's not it's not as like insane as people think it is, because when in that case which featured Borislav Ivanov, it was something in his shoes. It was something in his shoes 100%. But they never, but again, like basically when they asked him to take off his shoes and he refused, he essentially withdrew from the tournament, and then I don't think he's played since then. So that's why this is actually pretty important and pretty relevant.
I don't think he was able to smuggle in any secretive nanobot anal beads, because I feel like that would have been picked up by the wand this guy was scanning him with. So again, I think he went all natural here, fully biological, no augments. I don't think he cheated bringing a bot in or anything like that. Now, Hans Neiman has given yet another interview going more in depth on cheating allegations from his past. Hikaru brought up that he was banned by chess.com for cheating in some matches. And Hans Neiman does confirm that when he was younger, he did cheat in some online matches. He says they were unrated matches. It was back when he was younger, trying to grow his stream. And he had cheated back when he was like 12 years old as well in, again, online format. But has said he has never cheated in over-the-board chess. And this was very brave of him to be so open with his past of cheating online, because that's just one of those things that you don't really see a lot of people just tackle headstrong. That's something a lot of people bury. And I guess he was kind of forced to here since it was brought to light. But I still think being that transparent with it is pretty impressive, even if it is to the detriment of his career. I don't know how it's going to affect it going forward. Him being that open, I think, is pretty strong. And he is defending the legitimacy of his over-the-board career. In response to Hans Niemann's interview, Chess.com put out a statement saying that he will remain banned and that they had evidence that contradicts some of the statements he made, but Chess.com has yet to put forth that evidence for people to see. So as of right now, he's still banned and the evidence is hidden. And now I want to make it clear, not every Grandmaster is saying that Hans cheated. It's some of them that are standing strong that it's very suspicious how he beat Magnus. Some of them are claiming that all of his moves are a little too in line with moves that the chess bots make. But there are still a lot that support Hans, saying that, you know, Magnus just didn't play that well that day. So it's really just
that is definitely true
here. But since the anal bead theory broke, there was even an offer for Hans Neiman to play naked for $1 million to prove he didn't cheat. This anal bead theory is what's really taken hold from the cheating scandal here. And it all started as a meme. I don't think a lot of these publications did their due diligence here. The anal bead theory was just kind of a joke on the chess subreddit. There were very few people that legitimately believed it. They just started talking about it just because it was silly. But a lot of these publications have picked it up as if it's something believable. And yeah, theoretically,
I mean, they picked it up because, like, there's no... I mean, when Elon Musk tweets something, like, richest person in the world, probably one of... I mean, everybody's looking at whatever he tweets nonstop. And when Elon tweeted that, that's what led to it. It was not about the chess subreddits. It was specifically Elon retweeting that basically took it from, like, a fun little, like, casual internet thing to something that became like mainstream. It's because of Elon, 100% because of Elon.
It could exist, but I still find it very unlikely that it does. But the point is, it started as just a joke that's now become something much bigger. And Hans Neiman said he'll fucking play naked to prove he hasn't cheated. Like, he's being a good sport about the anal bead stuff. He said he'll just play full bare ass chess to prove that he is an innocent man when it comes to over-the-board chess games. Now, I'd like to just briefly give my opinion on Magnus Carlsen's tweet, because that's what really turbocharged all these cheating accusations here. He made that tweet and then went complete radio silence. He hasn't spoken out about this since, when he's the one that really, kicked a shit in the septic tank here and let it fester. I think it's a little, embarrassing to make that tweet and then have no follow-up. He just very slyly insinuates Hans may have been cheating. He withdraws from the tournament, which is no small thing, mind you. That's a big gesture. But refuses to actually come in here and give his stance on it when he's the one that kind of started most of it. I think that's a little sad. I would like if Magnus Carlsen would elaborate on why he made that tweet and what it's exactly in reference to. Is he accusing Hans of cheating? Does he think Hans cheated? Or did everyone misinterpret his tweet? I don't like the ambiguity of it. I would really appreciate, and I think most people would appreciate, if he elaborated a bit on his position, since he's the one that, he threw out the first move here going for like a scholar's mate potentially. So why not explain it a little more thoroughly? Tell us the line. But anyway, I just wanted to quickly get that out there because, you know, I feel kind of strongly about that. But overall, I don't think he cheated, but we'll never fully know. No one will ever fully know because there's no way it will ever be proven. But what a wild story regardless. Anyway, that's about it.
Yeah, so okay, so I wanted to add one point. There's one thing that Charlie says that when he refers to Magnus not saying it, there are a couple things in play. First of all, there's the aspect of Hans and potentially wanting to sue everybody. That's the first aspect. The second aspect that's really important to note as well is that another reason Magnus can't really say anything is because FIDE has their laws about like sportsmanship and gameplay. Of course, I'm not an arbiter or somebody who wastes my time reading the rule book, so I of course I don't know exactly what it says, but you're not able to say such things if you don't have some kind of proof. So those are the two things that Charlie is sort of isn't aware of. Now, of course, in the streamer world, it's very different in general terms, but like it is something I think people are definitely thinking about. Bring the game into disrepute, whatever it might be. Those are the two things that, in terms of Magnus, like why I think he's not saying anything very clearly throughout all of this. It's because of that. Those are the two reasons. So this is the first bit that I want to cover. Of course, it's a good video, obviously. By Charlie. I always love his stuff. So if there's no proof, why does he quit? I mean, I've said this before on my stream. I said this last week, and you know, a lot of people got mad at me for saying this, but I said it before. And the fact is, like, at the end of the day, the chess world is very small in terms of grandmasters, super grandmasters, all this other stuff. And everybody talks to each other. Okay, make no mistake about it. We all talk to each other. There are a lot of things that are said privately, not said publicly, etc., etc. And so where was I going with that? I lost my train of thought. But the fact is, these rumors have been building up over a long period of time. They've been building up over a long period of time. It's just that simple. And it is what it is, plain and simple. Okay, so let's move on. What do we have next? We have another YouTube video. What is this one? Let's watch this. What is this? Fun about this clip as well is that I have seen this clip, so like it's not a truly original reaction. What's funny about this, I remember this during the 960. There was one of these mornings when I was in St. Louis. I went out to get breakfast, and I ran into Fabian and Christian. They were going to the same restaurant that I was going to eat breakfast, and they brought this up to me, which is how I heard about it. So you said skip ahead to 4 minutes. Yeah, you're right. Actually, it is somewhere ahead, right? Let me pull this up too. We're going to be covering clips. I am going to talk more seriously about his life. It's like way beyond all the stuff that Magnus has done.
Before we go, please consider supporting a vibrant emotional health. They're a nonprofit dedicated to helping people achieve emotional well-being with innovative community programs as well.
Wait, what the heck? What the heck? I thought he was about to say subscribe. Wait, what did he say?
Please consider supporting a vibrant emotional health.
Oh, he said vibrant. I thought he said please consider supporting a vibrating. Okay, never mind. I was like, what the heck? Okay, anyway, let's move on. So what do we have next? We have, okay, now this is an article. This is about something that I have not covered. Let's keep moving on. Okay, let's change the scene. Here we go. Let me adjust let me change a little bit. There we go. Okay, so we have this article. Let me scroll down. Okay, so that's where I need to cut it off. Give me 1 second, and away we go. This is from good old Vice News. So this was an article. I assume this is the same topic. Let's get right into it. There we go. Okay, of course it's cut off at the top. That's life. It says campsite offers Hans Neiman $1 million to play chess nude to prove he did not cheat. Okay, prove the haters wrong once and for all. The offer letter reads. Okay, yeah. Let's see. A popular campsite is extended is offering $1 million to controversial grandmaster Hans Neiman to broadcast himself playing a live game of chess completely naked. The offer is supposed to help him prove he did not cheat when he beat Magnus Carlsen, the world's top-ranked chess player, in a tournament last week. Strip Chat, an adult webcam site that claims to have a monthly viewership of 400 million people. What the heck? What the heck? 400 million people? Is that for real? Oh my god. I don't know what that says about the world today. Geez, 400 million. Yeah, we've all been there. Okay. 400 million people says it sent a letter to Neiman congratulating him on his victory and extending sympathies for all the accusations of cheating against him. This cheating scandal has lit the chess world on fire and has become the biggest scandal in chess in recent memory. Okay. Congratulations on your victory against world #1 Magnus Carlsen, the letter reads. It's a shame you're being ridiculed by the chess community for potentially cheating. Claims that you use wireless vibrating anal beads to gain an upper hand are ridiculous. Electronic anal beads connected to an AI that would vibrate to tell Neiman what moves to play is just one of the many theories circulating around his victory at the Sinkfeld Cup in St. Louis 2 weeks ago. Okay. So we have the clip. Let's keep going. Other theories suggest that Carlsen's prep work for the tournament was leaked, allowing Neiman... Actually, no, let's watch the clip. We got to watch the clip, right? This was the clip that eventually was retweeted.
That's probably a good one, right? An anal bead probably would beat the thing. I'm serious. If the engine, it would probably... I don't know. I really don't know. Like, think about it. I don't know. I told you it was a prostate massage. But I'm not an expert at that stuff. I'm not the one.
I mean, I love that clip because you can just see like Eric there, like he's just like he doesn't even know what to really say. But this is the tweet that ended up getting retweeted by Elon Musk, which is what led to everything. Okay, so as we keep going, other theories suggest that Carlsen's prep work for the tournament was leaked, allowing Neiman, who despite being a notably young grandmaster was ranked the lowest in the tournament, to beat him. Others theorize that Neiman could have used a shoe computer connected to an AI, thus the suggestion that he played nude. Now, again, I will say this, I've been saying this for a while now. Anybody who thinks that there's any other realistic possibility in terms of why Magnus is not playing as Hans is just wrong. There's no other theory that stands up, in particular after what happened yesterday. I know there's still some people who try to think that somehow like Magnus's computer was hacked, or there was a server hack, or whatever it was. Like, that is not what this is about. And anybody who thinks that, I mean, it's like you're grasping at straws trying to find some other possible thing that's going on, but that's not what it's about at all. Okay, so as we keep going, yeah, so there's actually this tweet from Cecile that I saw, and this is what I'm saying. Like, all the people who try to find some other explanation like prep, that's not what this is about at all. Neiman has been staunch in defending his honor, and there's still no actual evidence that he cheated. I know you even offered to strip completely naked to prove to people you didn't cheat, the strip chat letter reads. Well, being that strip chat is an adult entertainment webcam platform that receives 400 million views on average each month, I wanted to extend you an offer to do just that. The letter continues. Prove the haters wrong once and for all. Strip naked and play a game of chess live on strip chat in return for up to $1 million. Now, the other thing that's funny about this is, as anybody who's familiar with legalese goes, they say up to $1 million. So what that means is that it's not $1 million guaranteed. It means that basically, if there are X number of views, he will get $1 million. So again, shows how things can get can change. Okay, so there's a letter. Okay, strip chat is known for stunts like this. The platform has previously offered free private cam shows to people who got a COVID booster called Boner Booster. Oh my god. Jesus. What the heck is the world coming to? Oh my gosh. You can't make this stuff up. Okay, anyway, they've launched a SPAC. Wait, they've launched a SPAC and it's called Strip SPAC. Offered a job to disgraced CNN New Yorker journalist Jeffrey Toobin, who was infamously caught masturbating on a work Zoom call. Had promised to donate $1 for every man who promised to continue masturbating during No Nut November, according to the press release's email to Motherboard. No word yet on whether Neiman, a 19-year-old from San Francisco, will take strip chat up on the offer. Neiman did not immediately respond to a request for comment from Motherboard. I don't even know what to say to that. I'm really confused, honestly. So, do I think Hans should take the offer? I mean, I don't even know what to say. I have no idea. So let's keep going. We have another article to cover. This looks like this is from Bloomberg. Okay, so we now have a serious. I assume this is a more serious article. I honestly don't know. Actually, let me see. How do I change this? Scroll down. Oh, am I blocked? Oh, am I blocked? I can't. Oh, I can't. This article I can't read. So that's unfortunate. Let me just use one of my spam emails just so I can sign up for it. Just 1 second. I should be able to get access to it. I actually have paid for Bloomberg in the past, but it's not let's see.
Wrong Owl just took
1 second. You can enter your email. 1 second. Yeah, we'll get to the more serious stuff slowly but surely. Let me just use one of my random emails. I'll enter the code sent to your email. 1 second, you guys. Let me try to sign in. Or not, whatever. Actually, maybe I can open this in like Edge or something. I work at Bloomberg. Can I assist? Oh, I was just trying to read an article, but just give me 1 second. I'll be right back. I just have to get my phone sent a code to my email. No, I'm here. It's just actually no, sorry. I sent a code to my okay, there's the code. Just give me 1 second, you guys.
Beach Volleyball 11 Legend just subscribed.
Okay. Wait, but it's still. Wait, I still can't read it? What the heck? Yeah, it still won't let me read it. That's annoying. Well, that's unfortunate. Okay, I guess we'll skip that article for now then. We'll skip the Bloomberg article, I guess, unless there's some way. Oh, actually, no. My mods are gonna get me an article. Yeah, they're gonna get me an article. Slowly, it's getting into it. Yeah, we're just slowly moving it along. I'm not like, again, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be said. Like that, we're taking it from like the more like whimsical kind of like more like joking side. Then we're slowly getting into it. Hikaru proves he didn't have his phone with him for Title Tuesday. Good one. Yeah, good one. 1 second. My mods are getting me a link. So they're getting me a link. Just pay for it. You have 50 million allegedly. Exactly. And what we're waiting for, I think it's so much a Weetofin for the Prime, Sir Schlemalot for the Tier 1, Rathkaku, thank you Term Swagger for the 5. I missed that earlier. Thank you so much to Classical Chess Sucks for the 11, Wrong Owl for the 4. Thank you so much to Beach Volleyball Legend for the 22, Phil Bauer for the 5, Lucasu for the Prime, and Ginger Minger for the Prime. Thank you so much to Navy Sfils for the 2, Mr. Poop Towel for the 31, Varun Kulkarni for the 11. Thank you so much, you guys. Okay, I think my mods have the link. Give me 1 second. I think it's sort of Scott. Oh no, we don't. Okay, whatever. We'll just skip this article. Maybe I'll come back later. Here's no paywall for the article. Oh, I got it. I think. Did I get it? No, I didn't get it. It's still, I'm still locked out. That sucks. Maybe I'll just use Edge. Let me see it. Maybe I can do it in Edge. I never use Edge anyway. The problem is I do occasionally go to Bloomberg to read articles. In Edge I can get it. So give me 1 second. Let me just for this one article, I'm going to use Microsoft Edge. Even though I never use Edge. 1 second. Okay. Give me 1 second. Let me change the scene just momentarily so I don't mess this up. Second.
Morton Wren just subscribed.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. So give me 1 second. Okay. So, all right. So we have this article as well. Let me adjust this just a little bit. Okay. So give me 1 second, you guys. We have this article from Bloomberg as well that we're going to cover. This is about Magnus Carlsen's strongest opponent in AI. So Magnus Carlsen's strongest chess opponent is AI. Let me make this bigger. There we go. Okay. So here we go. All right. So we're going to cover this article as well. Magnus Carlsen's strongest chess opponent is AI. The better artificial intelligence gets, the more humans will use it to their advantage, sometimes by cheating. Okay, let's dive into the article. Is artificial intelligence going to lead to a lot more cheating? A controversy erupted in St. Louis last week when Magnus Carlsen, the world chess champion, withdrew from a top tournament. One interpretation of his decision, drawing upon his tweet, is that he believes competitor Hans Neiman, who beat him in the 3rd round, may have been cheating with computer assistance. Suspicions were raised further when Neiman admitted having cheated twice previously, and when Chess.com issued a statement alleging yet further cheating and banning Neiman from its site. Okay. The chess world has been abuzz ever since, egged on by Elon Musk, whose tweets considered the possibility that you could cheat in chess with vibrating anal beads. In theory, the beads would transmit messages from an accomplice watching the live games online and consulting computer programs to transmit nearly impeccable advice. I don't know what really happened in St. Louis, but I am interested in this controversy as a harbinger of the future. The better AI gets, the more humans will use it to their advantage, sometimes by cheating. The first reality is that many people will work harder to be connected to their AI secretly or not. Very true. The St. Louis chess tournaments use security precautions, including body searches, but that won't be practical in most real-world settings. So people will be more likely to use their devices, headphones, hearing aids, or phones to alert them when a situation spells trouble. The brazen will simply pull out their phones in the middle of negotiating sessions and read them for tips. It won't be necessary to get vibrating beads, although some may prefer to. I love that. Some may prefer to, you know, in parentheses. Geez, that's a nice touch. Really nice touch. Okay, so let's keep going. Being an accomplice will be a job of its own. Maybe they sit in the stands of a baseball game and consult an AI and take off their cap every time they believe the pitcher is about to throw a curve rather than a fastball. Or maybe those poker faces in Vegas aren't so inscrutable after all, and an accomplice can signal to when to fold. Now, it's worth noting, this is one thing that has not really come up, is like the comparisons between poker and chess. Now, my understanding is, and I don't know this for a fact, but I think a lot of poker events these days are not broadcast live in real time. They generally have like a 30-minute delay or a 1-hour delay, is my understanding. Again, I haven't really been super in on the poker scene in quite a while, but I think that tournaments are very rarely live when it's big money. So this is one thing that I will talk about probably a little bit later, is that I think for poker it's 30-minute delay or 1-hour delay. So I begin to question in the chess world if we presume, or if we assume that there are issues potentially in the future where cheating is a serious problem in terms of trying to prevent like transmissions or whatnot. I don't know why the chess world isn't going to 30-minute delay, and I will say this just up front. Obviously, the next very big event that's coming up is the US Championship in St. Louis in 2 weeks, which Hans Neiman is playing in, and I do not understand why there's not going to be a 30-minute delay, because in my opinion right now, I think if you look at everything that's going on, if you assume someone has the will or they find some way to cheat, the only way that I think somebody can do it has to be something transmission related. If you talk about implants or other kind of stuff, frankly, if that's possible to pull off at this point, chess is not going to exist as a professional game, professional sport for more than probably another decade, if it's possible to do stuff like that. So my assumption is that if anything has to happen, it has to be related to some kind of transmission device, and if you have a 30-minute delay, it's just not possible. Is it outside the realm of possibility? No, it's definitely not outside the realm of possibility that nothing happened. But if you're trying to make sure, if you're looking at it from the prism of whether cheating is possible, you want to stamp it out, period. I think the engine can be self-contained without any transmission. I mean, if that's, like I said, if there are ways for people to do things like that at this point in time or in the future, chess will not exist as a professional game anymore. That's just plain and simple how I would look at it. So if it's anything with transmission, I think you just have 30-minute delay on all these major events. That's it, and I think everyone will be feeling a lot better about it. So that's also part of what I want to say later, but I said it now. Let's keep going. The good news, the good news is that AI assistants, or cheating as the case may be, will drive a lot of progress in human-machine interfaces. Right now, Google Glass stands as a failure, but some version of the product may make a comeback. This is a good example, because I did actually, for a while, I was one of those people who actually did go to like one of those flagship stores. I think it was in Flatiron District. Is that District, or is that just a building in New York City? And I did actually get Google Glass, and it seemed cool for a little bit, but it did become a failure. Smart clothes that transmit messages through the fabric are another option. You might walk into a bar and receive a directional message about which are the most eligible or higher earning potential partners sitting in front of you. Wow, okay. Facial and gait recognition are advancing too. A subtler truth is that a lot of cheating will be modest and marginal rather than blatant. Consider computer cheating in chess. If you find a way to consult the computer every move, you'll win every game with near perfect play. You will also be caught immediately, so you might cheat for only a few moves every game, enough to help but not so much to be detected. Given that both sides will employ countermeasures and detect suspicious instances of clearly superior performance, a lot of cheating will be pretty mediocre and deliberately so. All right, we're going to get to this a little bit later as well. As decisive moments approach, games and competitions might become less honest, and tensions in the crowd will rise as people wonder whether they are watching the real thing or some AI-aided simulacrum. Brilliances will forever be called into question. Dishonest players in turn will have to carefully consider when to exercise their de facto cheating privileges. I mean, this is something that I will be talking about a little bit later on, like this whole thing about like cheating, marginal versus blatant, because I think this is something that really scares me about the future. So I'm going to get to that a little bit later on, but not at the moment. So let me let's get back to let's see what's up next, I guess. Give me 1 second. What do we have next? Next up we have what is this? What is this? We have some, what is this link? Let me see. We have another article. Okay. Let me change the scene. What is this? Is this like Onion or something? This must be the Onion, right? That's what it looks like to me on first glance. I'm gonna guess this is some kind of Onion thing. Chess grandmaster accused of cheating after tournament officials find deflated rook.
Just resubbed for 12 months.
Okay. St. Louis, 19-year-old chess grandmaster Hans Neiman has been accused of cheating in another over-the-board game. Now, this, again, I really wish media would be careful what they say, because they say he's been accused of cheating, but this is not really, this is not how, oh wait, but this is satire, so they can say it, right? Yeah, I guess it's satire, so they can say it. This is not, yeah, this is different, to be fair. Okay, anyway, has been accused of cheating in another over-the-board game with world chess champion Magnus Carlsen after tournament officials found a slightly deflated rook, according to those familiar with the situation. While we cannot say for certain it was Hans who deflated the rook, this could be a key strategy to turn the tides in a game of chess. Magnus is known for strong endgames, but against another grandmaster, having the ability to more tightly grip a rook could have given Hans a slight edge there. We will be investigating the situation heavily, explained a tournament official. Carlsen declined to comment on the situation himself, but cryptically tweeted an upside-down smiley face emoji and a gif of Wile E. Coyote holding a stick of dynamite that then explodes in his face. Neiman, however, took the accusations of cheating very seriously. It's ridiculous that I'm being accused of something that I completely did not do. I'm just a better player than Magnus, and he's too scared to admit it. That is something Hans would say, by the way. I'll happily play another game with him where I use overinflated pieces that I can barely wrap my fingers around if that's what he wants. I'll do that thing where little kids wear t-shirts representing the pieces on a life-size board and we just call out the moves and let them walk around for us, Neiman said, who has in the past been banned from chess.com for using a mod that let him shrink the size of his rooks on his screen. As for the position itself, my pieces were clearly much stronger. You'd have to be a moron to not see it. I mean, do you want me to explain 2 plus 2 to you? Because that's what it's like trying to explain how I beat the world champion. This is pretty good, actually. This is a great article. Despite no credible evidence existing to prove that Neiman used a deflated rook in his game against Carlsen, various chess personalities have commented on the situation at length, both to defend and accuse Neiman. Oh my god, chat. Oh my god, said streamer and grandmaster Hikaru Nakamura, commenting on the situation 14 hours into a Twitch stream. Chat, oh my god. Chat, come on. Chat, oh my god. Chat. Okay, that's great. As of press time, fans were begging Carlsen to make an official statement after the world champion tweeted a clip art drawing of a bishop shooting a rook with a handgun. Wow. Okay, that's good. I think that's our one satire. So I'm actually going to go use the restroom very quickly and get a little bit more water. But we do have a lot of stuff to go, and now we're going to be getting into the more serious stuff. Like, we're going to be talking about like statements, things of this nature. So like, this is like all the fun and games part of it where we're just laughing about it, but now we're getting to the serious stuff. So give me like a minute or two to go use the restroom, get some more water, and then we'll keep going. So I'll be back in 1 second, you guys. All right, you guys, so we are back. Okay, so now we're gonna get into the serious stuff. So like a lot of that stuff is like comical and sort of relief for everybody, but now we are gonna get into the serious stuff. So all right, so as everybody knows, Hans was invited to this event that's happening right now. There's Julius Baer Invitational.
I'm going to the studio now,
and we're gonna watch this. We're getting into the serious stuff
Arne Horvei, tour director. And Arne, there's been a lot of chess drama lately. Magnus Carlsen, he pulled out
sound
of
is
the
good, but you guys
Singfield
can tell
Cup
me.
after losing a game to Hans Neiman. Now, Magnus hasn't said a word, but the chess world has basically concluded it was because he suspected Hans Neiman of cheating. So why is Hans Neiman, after all of this commotion, invited to this tournament?
That's plain and easy due to the tour regulations. In the regulations, it says that if you are amongst the top 8 players from the last tournament, you are automatically qualified for the next and invited to the next tournament. And in Miami, we had 8 players in our major. Hans Neiman participated there. So he was automatically then sent an invite to this event. And that invite was sent well before the tournament in St. Louis started. So it means that we sent that invite to him, and after the commotion in the chess world, which of course we have been following closely, we saw that there has been no indication of Hans Neiman being involved in any sort of cheating in the Meltwater Champions Chess Tour, so there was no reason for us whatsoever, based on allegations back and forth, to revoke his invitation. So that invitation stood, and he is participating in this tournament.
Okay, so and that's an important one, right? So his games in the tour has been
so I mean, this is the thing that's important. There's like, this is very important to note, is that again, people have to realize that Chess24 and Chess.com are two separate. I mean, I know they're merging, but they are two separate entities. So they're separate entities. So it's like Chess24, like just because Chess.com puts out a statement that seems, I mean, again, by the way that I read, it seems like Chess.com is essentially saying that Hans has cheated like more than twice, probably in money events, whatnot. That's my general read of the statement. They might have that proof. But at the end of the day, Chess24 doesn't have, I mean, they don't have anything really that I assume is conclusive. I also frankly want to believe that they probably have a far smaller team that's analyzing everything. Like, you know, Chess24 doesn't have like a play zone. They don't have millions and millions of games that are being logged every day. So like, as an example, I don't know this for a fact, but I'm pretty certain that like every game that I play on stream, like I'm betting you every game that I play, like they probably track my mouse movements, they track my moves, and I'm betting there's like a huge difference between like how much I click when I'm on stream, because obviously I'm looking at chat, I'm looking at the recent events and Streamlabs and all this other stuff, and like all this data is getting logged. But Chess24, I don't think they have any of this data at all. And I think for them, like they just have people watching the games in real time from the specific event, and there is nothing going on. So it's very, very different. Also, the other thing that I want to say, they barely have employees, maybe true too, but the other thing that I think is really important to note is like when people talk about Magnus owning the company, yes, he owns 10%. I think it's a little under 10% of Play Magnus Group, which owns Chess24, Chessable, everything else. But I don't believe Magnus is involved in any of the day-to-day. I don't think he decides who gets invited or who doesn't get invited. So like this notion that Magnus can suddenly like tell them what to do when he's not directly involved in the day-to-day is just kind of a bit much. So anyway, let's keep going with the video.
Closely analyzed, there is no evidence of cheating.
We have been closely analyzing many games in the tour so far, and there's been no indication, not either for him and his games, that he has been involved in any type of cheating. Okay,
and in general, what kind of measures is taking in the tour to avoid cheating, anti-cheating measures?
We take a lot of measures, and we are really concerned about, so we are doing this with the best players in the world. We are trying to be, I think we are probably the most important online tour in the chess world, and I think also we do very much more than a lot of other events. Of course, we start with the basics, that all players have to share the screen, all players has to be alone in the room, no players can leave the desk while they're playing, and we have cameras pointing from the back to the desk so that we can see the entire area that player is playing from. The sound has to be on. We have arbiters following each games, either at home with the players or digitally. The players have to show their ears into the arbiter cameras. And also we have some of the best analytics tools that can do analysis after the rounds. And also we have some elements that, addition to this, that we want to keep for ourselves, so that we have tools that is not known to the world as well.
But even with all of these measures, I mean,
and tools, of course. Yeah, I mean, this is, you know, and I mean, it's very tough. Obviously, it's a very tough situation with everything that's going on. But you know, to give you an example of just how crazy things are, like how all the suspicions, all the rumors, everything. I heard something when I was in St. Louis this past week. Like, I'm not going to name names or anything like that, but I heard rumors that someone was suspicious of somebody in the Meltwater Tour in the last season when I played. So I heard, like, I even heard a rumor about this, just to give you an example of how insane everything kind of is getting at this point. Like, this is why I think cheating is very important that we take this seriously and we try to understand what is going on. So what tools? I assume he's leak it. No, you guys, of course not. But this is what I'm saying. So like, this is not like some kind of joke. Like, it's very serious stuff. Let's keep going.
New technology, there definitely must be ways of cheating. Also, the tour has the highest prize money in online chess, which could be a motivation for someone to cheat. So how important is the tour taking the role as an organizer with anti-cheating measures?
Very important. Taking, and we know that, of course, the technology is consistently innovating, and we have to be in the forefront there as well. And we have to take the measure needed together with the players to make sure that chess, and in particular this tour, is looked upon as a clean sport. It is our responsibility together with the players.
This guy is not a proctologist, you guys. This is the main organizer of the event. This is Arne Horve, I think is his name. He's the main organizer. He's not one of the specialists. He's the organizer explaining what is being done.
Everybody who plays and watches and follows our tour and chess in general, they should feel safe that this is a fair sport and it's the best chess player that actually win each game. And that is something we take very seriously.
Oh, Proctor. Sorry, Proctor.
And
okay.
We do now have both Magnus and Hans Neiman playing in the tournament. It's only been 2 weeks since Magnus pulled out. So has there been some reactions from these two players in playing in the same tournament now?
We have had dialogue with all players leading up to this event, and of course there has been a lot of there's a lot of emotions, a lot of meanings, a lot of opinions, a lot of statements in the chess world, also amongst the players as well. And of course there has been feedback to us leading up to this, but all players were informed about the lineup before it was made public, and everybody is playing.
Okay, yeah, I mean, not too much to see there. I mean, that's all pretty normal. Pretty normal. So, okay, so what's up next? Next we have, what is this? Is this a statement by somebody? What is this? What is this? Let me change the scene.
Any other stuff?
Let me pause this. Let me adjust this a little bit. Okay, what is this? This is a this is a clip from Twitch, I guess. So give me 1 second. Okay, there we go. Pull this out just a little bit. There we go. All right, what is this clip? Let's watch this.
Obviously, he is also not really, as a result of talks with his team and consultations, he can't really say much. But I will say one thing, and I've been thinking about this for a long time. I was actually commentating the game from the Sinkfield Cup with Jan Gustafsson and Rustam Kazimjanov when was I commentating, or maybe it was the day before? I was either commentating or the day before. In any case, one thing that I realized was that Magnus doesn't make impulsive decisions when it can affect the tournament, affect the game, affect the future of the game. And I was thinking about this a long time, and I thought it's so uncharacteristic of Magnus to just do something rash. I can imagine other players doing it, more super emotional players, but Magnus, no way. And so what I will say is that I believe he has very solid reasons for doing what he did, although I also do believe I think he believes he could have done it in a better way.
That's true.
I think he knows that. But I believe the actual foundation of his argument is probably valid. And at some point, some further clarification is required, both from Magnus, from the guys in St. Louis, whoever it is, because we can't just go in limbo, have this accusation on hands, allow him to play the same tournaments, right? It doesn't work. At some point, there has to be some kind of yeah.
That's true.
So let's see. I don't know when that will be. I don't know what's going to happen today. Obviously, Tanya, they're playing in the second game. So goodness knows what will happen. Have you got any ideas?
Okay, so yeah, so that was the next that I want to watch. Again, I don't know exactly what Lawrence, I mean, I have no idea what Lawrence is referring to specifically, but he is right with what he says about Magnus. This is one of the things that really perturbs me when I look at like the online sphere, and I see a lot of people are saying, like, a lot of people are out there saying like Magnus, he's like become like Fisher. They're trying to come up with like these reasons for why this is happening rather than looking at the simple plain reality of what is going on, which, as I said before, is that Magnus thinks something has happened. Now nobody knows what he thinks happened, when it happened, where, what not, but he thinks something has happened. So when I see people who are acting like Magnus is like super sore or salty because of rating or any of this stuff, I just don't understand. It really boggles my mind how chess people refuse to just look at what's in front of them with a very simple and objective view. It just it baffles my mind the way that people are the way that people are the way that people seemingly are trying to look for something else. Magnus acting like a punk, there's nothing to say that Magnus isn't doing things in the wrong way, but thinking that it's just something that's done like on the spur of the moment, that's rash when he's never done this before, that's just, you know, that's not how it works. People don't just suddenly change overnight, plain and simple. So anyway, let's move on. Next clip. What is this? We have, what's this, a Lev clip? Let me pull this up. Yeah, I mean, we're getting more and more to like the serious end of the stuff, so give me 1 second. I'll close all these tabs I now have open. Now let me change the scene. There we go. All right, let's watch this clip.
Levon Aronian, and we are joined. Congratulations on winning against Adiban in that last round, Levon.
Thank you very much.
It's been a tough day for you. 3 losses before that great win against Adiban. So what has today been like?
Well, I should have lost against Adiban as well. It has been a tough day. Yesterday I had a better day, and then I think I forgot that this is always very turbulent for me, this tournament. And I kind of relaxed, and today, well, we saw the result.
Yeah. And I hear rumors, Levon, you have a cool picture on your t-shirt today.
Yes,
can we
Ponchik.
see? Ah, so you have Ponchik. That must be the luck of Ponchik in that last game, maybe then.
Ah, for sure. For sure.
Now, Levon, I don't know if you've been able to check the news in between your games, but it's huge drama in the chess world today. Magnus resigned after 1 move against Hans Neiman. What is your reaction to that?
Well, I understand the frustration of Magnus. You know, I mean, I really didn't know much about a lot of things. Now I'm somewhere in the middle. I do believe that Hans has been not the cleanest person when it comes to online chess. But well, he's a young guy. Hopefully this will be a lesson to him. He will I mean, he will not do any of bad things online. And but generally, I think, you know, this is a problem that requires a solution, and there are solutions. I mean, I don't think this is such a big problem. I'm sure that it's not going to be a problem if we just spend, let's say, 5% of our attention to it.
Yeah.
Because you know, mostly if you're intelligent and you play chess and you enjoy the game, mostly you don't have that temptations. But we should generally stop the temptation at the core of it, because we have many young, talented players, and sometimes the young people.
Yeah, I mean, this is actually one of the things, though, that I know a lot of people who are talking about Hans. And they said that, you know, this is one of those things where Levon, it feels like, has gone exactly in the other direction. You know, if we listen to his interview during the Sinkfield Cup, it seems like he made the comment that, like, everybody's paranoid. You tend to accuse, you know, new juniors or up and coming juniors, I should say, of cheating. That's you know, what he said very clearly. And I take that as a sign that maybe he didn't know anything about what's going on. But the fact that he now feels this way about it, I mean, to me, this says a lot, I would say, about where I think most super grandmasters stand on the issue. So that's what I would say. I mean, I feel like Levon has been one of the ones who's been, like, most measured, and now he's really kind of, it feels like, taking a different stance now. So we're gonna see. There's a game for me to analyze. I am aware of this, which we will get to. I don't know if I should get to it right away. Okay, so okay, let's watch the rest of this interview and then we'll get to the game.
I remember also myself, you do have lots of temptations.
Yeah. And how dangerous is it with cheating, and especially suspicion then of cheating, for the motivation for you guys, the top players, when maybe for Magnus Carlsen today, he just can't get it out of his head, his suspicion of cheating, and so he decides not to play?
Yeah, I think since we had the chat with some of online server people, and we found out a lot of things about Hans, you know, the multiple instances of him cheating, I think that creates a problem for Magnus.
And you play Hans tomorrow, round 11. Are you uncomfortable playing him?
No, I'm not uncomfortable to play with anybody. You know, I just want to play, and hopefully it will be an interesting battle.
That's very nice to hear. Now, many people in the chess world are calling now for Magnus Carlsen to come out, give an explanation, come with maybe some evidence. Are you doing the same, or do you understand Magnus staying silent?
I think it's not such a problem. If Magnus has a personal problem and he wants to resign, that's okay. That's okay by me. And not that we're silencing anything, you know, trying to hide. This is an extremely rare case that somebody is continuously maybe, you know, doing the wrong things online, and hopefully he stopped already. But generally, you know, I think once we take care of these things, once we have a better system devised, it will be completely gone. So I understand that Magnus doesn't want to explain himself because, you know, it creates more drama. So at this moment, he's just saying, okay, you know, I will not play against this person, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, finally, on a happier note, this is the Generation Cup. Levon, you already played Boris Gelfand. In the final round of the preliminaries, you're going to play Vasily Vanchuk. And I want to ask you, because these two players, well into their 50s, they have stayed on top of the game up until now.
All right, so I think that's all of the interview that really matters. Now, as we know, there was a game that was just played, so let me change my scene. There was a game that was just played. Let me go back to start between Hans and Levon. So let me change the scene. Yeah. So I mean, the way that I view it is, it seems to me that Lev has heard a lot more. Again, I'm in a situation where all this, you know, it's much easier to try and read between the lines what people are saying, but it seems to me that very clearly Levon was told something about what has happened on like online, on chess.com, elsewhere, whatever it might be. He's been told something. Now, who knows what that means? Again, it's hard to really judge exactly, but his opinion has definitely changed a little bit on the whole situation. So it's interesting to note, based on whatever he was told, that really kind of, I don't want to say like shook him, but it sounds like his whole outlook and view of the situation is different now. And I also feel like when I look at Lev speaking there, he is not happy. Normally I feel like he's much more optimistic, in a good mood, and he doesn't look like someone who's happy in terms of what has in terms of what, you know, what's been said. So let's go through this game. So Levon playing with the black piece against Hans. Now, another thing that's really crucial about all this and why this is such a difficult situation, and I'm just going to say, is if you're playing someone and you do have suspicions that they might be cheating or whatnot, the quality of your play suffers because of it, without a doubt. You know, if I look at games I've played online at times, like if I have some doubt, even if it's like the smallest possible doubt about something, my play will go down. And this is why this is such a problem, because if people are suspicious of Hans, whether it's on, you know, whether it's because of online, whether they think maybe something happened over the board, etc., however it goes. The problem is that then you have problems psychologically. Your play will go down. You will not play as well as you would against anybody else. This is just like basically a fact. This is just a fact. And that applies to everyone. It could apply to me, it could apply to Magnus, it could apply to Anish. You are not going to play at the same level, which is why this is such a problem in general terms. Because, you know, if you think about it, if Hans keeps getting invited to tournaments and he's playing, people will not play as well against him as they would if they thought they were just playing another Rising Junior, like just let's just say Gukesh or Arjun, just because they're the most prominent ones. Like, people are going to play significantly worse against him. At the same time, you can't really say, like, you know, you can't really like ban him necessarily, but the fact is you're in a very tough situation there, because he is going to have better results because people are very uneasy about what's going on. So it's a very, very tough situation. Very, very tough situation when you look at everything. It applies to Hans as well. How does it apply? To Hans, it's a huge advantage. I mean, Hans, of course, at the end of the day, is the only one who knows what he's done, or, you know, what he's done or what he hasn't done. Anish said the exact same thing about that. Yeah, of course. So like for Hans, like I mean, he's the only one who knows whether he has or has not done anything over the board. But at the end of the day, like, it's a huge boost for him. 100% it's a boost. 100% it's a boost. So anyway, let's go through this game. So Hans playing with the white piece against Levon Aronian today. This is in the Julius Baer Generational Cup. I think this is round number 11. So, okay, pretty normal. I'm actually going to turn off the lines. So I want to look at this with like no lines, complete objectivity. Okay, so I have the lines off. Okay, I have the bar on, but it doesn't really matter. So let's see, what do we have? So we have a Najdorf being played by Levon here. Bishop d3. Okay, pretty funny, he plays Bishop d3. This is a line that I actually played quite a bit. I won a very nice game. I think it was in Norway chess in 2018 against Maximus Vachier-Lagrave, if I'm not mistaken. So anyway, we get g6 f3. Okay, this is all pretty normal so far. Bishop e2, interesting. Bishop e3 is the main line, but goes on. He plays bishop e2. Okay, all pretty normal. Okay, bishop b7. Again, b6 instead of b5, because then there's possibly like bishop e3 and some a4, or even a4 right away. a4, b4, knight e5 maybe. Although actually computer doesn't like this, which again is why I'm specifically looking at this without like the lines on, because I'm trying to get an idea. So we get b6. Okay, all normal. All normal. G4. G4, wow. Huh. G4, really?
Out of Bezos's pocket. Thanks.
Wow. G4. Yeah, I'm G4, really. Okay. We got knight e5, g5, okay. b3, okay, now e6 is a blunder. Again, I don't have the lines on, so I'm trying to look at this. No, g4 is a crazy move to play. Again, now people are going to read into me saying that it's a crazy move to play, but this is a crazy move to play. This is just a crazy move to play here, to play g4, because normally you'd play something like bishop h6, rook a d1, maybe rook f d1. What am I insinuating? Yeah, exactly, you guys. Yeah, start going there, but g4 is a crazy move. Maybe it's a good move. Let's see. Is it a good move? No, it's not actually a good move, because black should play h6. h6? Okay, this is kind of weird too. I'm really confused by this. I mean, g4 is crazy. h6 is also crazy. I mean, yeah, it's all kind of crazy. Anyway, okay, let's turn off the lines, go back here. So g4 is played. We got knight e5. g4 is not a mouse up, because like g3 is a ridiculous move too. So g4, okay, so we get knight e5, or sorry, not h4. G4, knight e5, g5, knight f7, b3. Okay, logical. Stops knight c4. e6 played here, and now I'm guessing there's probably some knight b5. Let me turn the lines back on. No, it's f4 first. It's f4, and then yeah, knight c6. Then I assume this is just crushing. After takes, you get knight d6. Like, this just looks like a total disaster. I don't know if rook d1 is best or e5, but I mean, it's almost like it's like a Bond cloud, but white is a bunch of pawns, and it's just game over. The thing is, Hans can play crazy because his opponents will be on the defensive because of what I just said. This is true. This is why it's a very big problem. This is why it's a very big problem, because the fact is, psychologically, I'm telling you, like, I've played chess my whole life. I know how you feel. Like, you know, I know how you feel. So this is like, yeah, this is the problem. So you're actually right. Like, because the problem is, if you already have some suspicions here, and then someone plays g4, which is not a human move at all, like, it's gonna rattle you. It's gonna rattle you for sure when someone plays a move like g4. 100% it's gonna rattle you when they do this. So we get b3, e6, f4, rook c8, and now knight b5, and you just resign. I mean, this is not hard to find. I mean, e6 obviously is a very bad move by Lev, because it just kind of loses the game. But yeah, you get this, and I mean, queen before not hard, and knight f5, and it's just, yeah, it's game over. Yeah, I mean, just game over. Is Hans taking advantage of people thinking something's going on? I mean, I don't know. Again, like I said, everything is speculation. This g4 move though is like, yeah, it's a crazy move. I kind of wonder if I asked Ali Reza here about this position, if he would consider this move, let alone play it. I'm kind of curious what Ali Reza would think here. Yeah, this kind of crazy move caused a collapse. Yeah, it definitely, it started left down the wrong path, playing knight e5 and everything else. But no, I mean, this g4 is crazy. This is just a crazy move. Let the engine run on g4. Yeah, very, very funny. Ali Reza probably is an insane move. Maybe. But yeah, okay, this is just brutal. g4. I'm really trying to I'm trying to think based on my understanding if there's anywhere that I would consider a move like g4. I'm really trying to figure this out. Like, I mean, I've played these knight dwarfs, these dragons, drag dwarfs my entire life, and I'm just trying to think of lines where you play g4 early, where you've castled. Like, I'm really trying to think of it. Like, I can think of lines where you play g4 in some of the Scheveningans with e6, bishop e7, but I mean, if you haven't castled, yeah, like here for example, g4, this is like very, very standard. Could it be prep? I don't think it's prep. I don't think it's prep. I mean, it can't be prep. Again, I don't have the timestamps, but I don't believe it. But yeah, this is, wow, g4 here. Yeah, because like it's such a crazy move to me. Like a4, I mean, unless there's some line where you play g4, like the way that I look at it as like as a human, like a top GM, is I try to think about themes. I'm trying to think about themes or like these really amazing concepts that you come up with in positions where you think of them. So I'm trying to think about Sicilians. He took 20 seconds and played it. No, but I mean, how long had you taken on the whole game prior to that moment? Yeah, I mean, yeah, g4 is just, yeah, I mean, it's a crazy move. Ironically, yeah, I mean, again, I don't know if it's a top move. Let me let the computer think. I mean, again, h6 is also not, I mean, h6 is like not a human move either. Yeah, g4 having castled, like I can't think of any Sicilian where you play g4 like this, where you've castled. The king's on e1, there are plenty of lines, but having castled to play g4 here, just, yeah, it's crazy. But it probably is actually a very good move objectively. Probably it's a good move. So yeah, now run it in your supercomputer. It says g4. No, you guys, we're not doing that right now, but this is a crazy move. G4 is crazy. But again, yeah, it evidently worked out very well for Hans, because after knight e5 g5, I mean b3, I mean e6 is obviously a very poor move by Lev. That's very poor, but at the same time, it's already unpleasant. Bishop e2 probably, this is prep. Bishop e2 is prep. This is prep. Is this a novel idea? I think it is. I'm racking my brain trying to think about like knight dwarfs or dragons where you play g4 having castle. Like there are lines where, I mean, like they're dragon lines, for example. Like if I just go back to the start, there are a lot of dragon lines, for example, where you get some position like, not that, sorry, bishop e2, where there's something like this, for example, and at some point like you play some g4, maybe not this exact position, but there are lines like this where you play g4, g5, f5. But to play it with this f3 structure, like this English system structure, like this setup to go g4 where you've castled, I don't think I've ever seen that before. I've never seen it. So yeah, that's what it is. I've never seen it before. Anyway, impressive win nonetheless. So yeah, so there we go. But when you castle short, well, it's like, yeah, I mean, normally, like, for example, a normal way to play this would be like something like bishop e3, like you go like here, and even here g4 without castling makes sense, because you can also castle and play g4 as well. Ask Averick, what is this Averick tweet? Let me pull this off so I don't, yeah. Oh, what is this? What is this? This is just a tweet about the Catalan? Okay, but I don't understand. I mean, I don't get what that's saying. Anyway, all right, so yeah, so I mean, very impressive win, obviously. I'm trying to think, like, maybe there's some games the last year or two that I've missed with this concept, but I've never seen this concept with white having castled here before. I've never seen this. Bishop e2 has been played. Yeah, bishop e2 obviously has been played before. Like I said, the lines that I was looking at this line probably like 5 or 6 years ago, before Norway chess and other stuff, and I think the lines I was looking at was like bishop e3, queen e2, and castles. This is the line I was looking at. I mean, I played bishop d3. I think I played against Maxime, maybe against Nepo as well, so it's something I'm familiar with, but definitely I haven't looked at this bishop e2. And it's called a transposition. I mean, what I wonder when he says transposition is there some line, like, of course we'll never get an answer on this most likely, but is there a line where you go bishop e2 bishop e3 and there's some drag dwarf where you play f3 g4 having castle? That's the only thing I wonder. But anyway, crazy move, but it works out, and that's the game as we have it. So let's keep moving on. Next up, we're going to go to Anisha's statement. What is this? Let me pull this up. Keep moving along with all our stuff. What engine recommends G4? I don't think any engines recommend it. Wait, let's pull. Oh, is this on our chess? Okay, let me watch this on YouTube. Yikes. Don't want to watch it on our chess.
What has today been like, Anish?
You want my hot take on the hot matter, or
well,
what is it? Or are we going to pretend, are we going to ignore the elephant in the room there?
Well, you said it. What do you think about Magnus resigning against Neiman? Are you shocked?
Yeah, I mean, the show must go on, yeah. It reminds me of... I mean, it's like when you play poker and you bluff, on the first. Because I saw he plays poker, so you bluff on the first, then comes, another card, you keep bluffing, and then another card, and you keep bluffing. But, yeah, I mean... it looks like he's clearly insinuating something, but until you catch someone, you cannot do anything. So it just looks very odd now. I mean, clearly, it all makes sense if supposedly Hans is cheating and he doesn't want to play him, but if he doesn't, then it is really very wrong. So I don't know. We have to see. I mean, again, everybody is expecting some kind of big rabbit from the head with Magnus, but he just doesn't want to play Hans, it seems. And it's quite interesting that the game after that, he played so well. I was thinking, you might be disturbed, but he was just undisturbed.
Yeah, I mean, this is also what's crazy about this. Is like after Magnus loses that game, the next game he plays against Levon, and he just plays a brilliant game and wins. Just plays a brilliant game.
Are you, like the rest of the chess world, basically calling for Magnus to explain this and maybe come with some evidence against Hans?
But I think it's pretty clear that he doesn't have it. Because if he had, there would be no need to do that. It's pretty clear to me that he is convinced or near convinced that that is the case, based on the evidence that already is public. We just made took that call, and it's a big problem, playing people who have been banned, and especially who have admitted to cheat online before, because you lose trust in these people, and that is a major problem. Also, insinuating of cheating is a big problem. So all of these things they have to be somehow resolved. And I mean, my word of advice for young players, especially the talented ones, I mean, there's so much damage you do to yourself when you cheat online, in some small events, because these things, they stick, and then afterwards the big boys, they don't trust you anymore, and that's not good. So.
There's only one problem though. Like there's one thing that there's one thing though that I have to say. The thing that everybody seems they keep saying the same thing. Like the lesson is don't cheat. Obviously don't cheat. But the one problem with saying this is that there are none of these rumors around any other junior player. That is the one thing that consistently people they like when Anish says this, or when Lev says this thing about people being suspected of cheating. The fact is there might be one or two salty people who say something here or there, but you do not have like a lot of people having suspicions. That's the problem with this whole narrative. Is like it's like this is not something that's normal. It's not like you don't have a situation like this. I can't. Didn't Alireza get banned? That was manual banning, and a lot of people were suspicious when he was like 14 or 13 or 12 or whatever it was. I mean, obviously he's a huge talent even back then. But like I'll give you an example. If you look at Raunak, or I think people are saying Raunak, Parham, Sindarov all have closed counts. Yes, that I believe. I mean, apparently that's what's been said. I don't know this for a fact, but that's what's been said. But if I look at all of those players, I have not once ever heard any rumor about anything besides like the one time they cheated somewhere. I mean, you can say rumors start somewhere, but at the end of the day, like too many people have been saying these things, so it's not like this is a one-off situation. That's actually what really bothers me about the whole thing, is that people act like this is some like one-off situation. This is not some one-off situation. It's happened. Raunak, I mean, yes, there was something with Raunak on lead chess and Parham on lead chess, or so I've heard. But again, I don't know about that. I have no idea about that. But the thing is, this is not something normal. It really is not normal. So I that's the one thing that bothers me a little bit. Like when Lev makes this comment about how everyone gets accused of cheating. Yeah, it's like one person gets salty after an online game, and that's the extent of it. Or maybe two people get you know, they get like really wrapped up in some loss, and then that's it. It moves on. You know, and end of the day. Hans been caught a lot of times, including in Title Tuesday, according to Levant separately. So that, yeah, I mean, if Hans has done something in money events, I mean, that's really unforgivable. I mean, if he has, I mean, I saw that Title Tuesday thing somewhere else, but I mean, if it's something where it's like there's like cheating in like multiple online events, for example, I mean, I can't really. I mean, maybe this is a hot take, but I find it hard to believe that he should just be able to skate free and play over the board as though nothing has happened. But you know, we'll see. We'll see. Let's keep going with the video.
Definitely, you know, with this drama, like every time you need some new information to keep the drama going, but today, you know, with this thing, will definitely keep spiraling for a while.
No, because to me, like, you can say there's a difference between online and over the board, but if you're actually taking money away from like not hard earning, but you're taking money away from people who are trying to make a living playing chess, that's just unacceptable. Just unacceptable.
This stuff going on, and it's not clear how it will end, because as we see, like, there is no, I don't think Magnus has anything more than what's there. I mean, there is the repeated cheating online, there is the I mean, slightly weird character that Hans is portraying, but you know, I mean, yeah, just the fact that all of that doesn't mean that he cheats all the time, or doesn't mean that he cheats over the board, or it's just very confusing. So yeah, not much to add really.
Well, and you play Hans Neiman tomorrow in round 10, Anish. Are you uncomfortable playing him?
I mean, let me be very frank, because I knew about all this. Everybody knew about all this stuff about online cheating, and we know about online cheating by multiple other players as well. Okay. It'll be, because these things, they just leak, and I mean, these are not the top players, but young players who have been banned on various websites. So I always thought there is possibility that Hans is cheating, but looking at my own games, I have conviction that he never did that against me, because he usually plays very badly. But either way, there are swing levels, level swings in his play, and that might very well do with the fact that he's very young. There are also many level swings with everyone, but in particular with the young players, because they know some positions better, they know some position less, they looked at some lines, they didn't look at some others, they studied some Catalan lines, you know, didn't look some, I don't know, anti-Berlins. So yeah, I'm eager to play Hans. I've done very well against him before. He plays very poorly against me, so I'm not concerned. But of course, he seems to be improving. His rating is rising, whatever the reason is, whether he's just legit very strong, or what Magnus is trying to insinuate. But either way, it is, of course, an exciting game, but can be dangerous as well. So I'm looking forward. I mean, whenever I play, I always push these thoughts away. And I heard that Magnus said the same in some interview, but I don't know what happened to him. Like, whenever you play, you have to just assume that the opponents don't cheat. It's like one of these, it's one of the psychological issues that players chess players struggle. And normally you don't withdraw, you just, I mean, if you can't deal with them, you go to therapist. And you deal with those, because, yeah, there are always issues. And I mean, I've heard from my colleagues, many people insinuating not telling directly, suspecting other colleagues of cheating. It's always a thing, and I guess in other sports they have that with doping or whatever, but you just have to push these thoughts away, because it's just very disturbing. You cannot play when you think your opponent is cheating. You just cannot play. You cannot play an engine. You think you'll lose for sure. You must push these thoughts away, and that's what I'm trying to do. And I think it's important that everybody tries to do that.
Yeah. Very interesting hearing your thoughts on this issue, Anish. We wish you best of luck tomorrow as well in your fight to qualify for the knockouts. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. I'll do my best.
Yeah, so I mean, again, what Anish says, I mean, what Anish says, I mean, I agree with most of the stuff that he's saying, of course, but yeah, let's move on. Okay, what's next? We, of course, now we're gonna get to this. Let me pull this. What is this? What is this? This is another interview, I think, with Ken Regan.
We're joined by Dr. Kenneth Regan, the man who once calculated that God would have a perfect chess rating of 3,600, and here he is, Dr. Kenneth Regan. Thank you for joining.
Wait, that's an interest. Like, again, of course, this is not to make a joke out of it, but he said that he said that God would be 3,600. Aren't Stockfish and like Alpha Zero like 3,800? Or am I wrong? Aren't they like higher than that? So like that prediction is a little bit sus, right? A little bit of a sus prediction. So Stockfish is greater than God? Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's listen in.
Joining us and for waiting to join us.
That's fine. I'm just in my office preparing lecture notes and exercises for my classes starting at 4.
All right, good. I'm glad you made it. And I have to ask you about the big story. First of all, as a chess lover, what is your reaction to the big drama now? Magnus resigning his game against Hans Neiman today.
Very much regret. It's not proper. And you know, one thing about the tournament is the top 8 qualify, and I guess Magnus, is likely to be near the top of those top 8. But now he has gifted Hans Neiman a free point, and if that causes Neiman to go in when someone else would have, that other person has a complaint. So it's very unfortunate for the sporting nature.
Yeah,
that is true. Yes.
And Kenneth, your work with cheating in chess in the early 2000s, you created an anti-cheating program for chess that is still in use today in the Tour, in the Sinkfield Cup. Can you first of all tell us, how does this anti-cheating program?
I mean, again, like we're gonna keep watching. I haven't seen this before, but I actually find that kind of scary. Thank you so much for the gifted subs to Dork Uprising. The 5 gifts, that actually kind of scares me a little bit when they're talking about a program that was created in the early 2000s and it's still being used. That actually really worries me a little bit. If they're using the same thing from 2002, like that actually kind of scares me a little bit, because I mean, I was around in 2002 and the world was a very different time. But I hope yeah, it's not the same thing.
Work.
Yeah, so it actually has 2 stages, and I just say my work began with a very qualitative block key model that I used in the toilet gate chess scandal of 2006, but that was already sufficient to show the main principle which has operated in the game between Neiman and Carlsen 2 weeks ago, which is that if you have a position with a clear standout move, a strong human player and a computer are both likely to agree on that move. So therefore, what my model does is try to ascertain to what degree a position has standout moves, how difficult, how complicated it is, and thereby put probabilities on all of the given moves in a position, and from that derive related aggregate statistics that can ultimately be used to make statistical judgments of unlikelihood. And it's predictive analytics. It's a very common type of modeling that is used by insurance companies, for instance, to ascertain the likelihood of damage to your house from fire, from flood, from wind, based on the rating of the neighborhood in which you live.
There is one thing, again, like, I mean, I have to take this, of course, listening, taking this in mind. Obviously, I don't understand a lot of what he's saying, like everybody else. But the one thing that actually, the thing that I kind of am curious about when you talk about this model is, like, does this model have input from super GMs or not? Like, like, where is he getting this? Like, the human and the computer will agree. Like, and of course, I'm sure he doesn't answer this, but like, when he says like human and a computer have the same reaction, I'm really curious. Like, is there any kind of input from GMs? Like, are GMs looking at the games? Like, how is he coming up with that equation? He's an IM. Yes, I understand he's an IM, but I mean, again, you cannot compare like an IM to a super GM. I mean, I will just be like that. Are there super GMs who are actually involved or not? Super GM? No, I'm not talking super GM games, because I'm saying if a super GM looks at a game, if a super GM looks at, are super GMs looking at games is what I'm asking, or is he just modeling it off of their games? That's what I'm saying. Oh, he boasts about there being no chess aspect. Oh, okay, so probably let's listen in.
Events are probabilities of moves in the chess positions, and there can be catastrophic events such as 2... resigns in the game we just saw.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah. And using this program to analyze many games in chess, can you tell us how big of a problem is cheating in chess? How often will it reveal cheating?
Well, there's really been, the pandemic has shown a great discrepancy between online chess and in-person chess. With in-person chess, it's still the case that the number of cases coming to my attention
Should be very low. Yeah.
Around 5 to 10 real cases per year, not all of which are ultimately sustained, and maybe 10 or more other accusations that were like this one, ultimately unfounded, as my work finds. In fact, one of the purposes of especially my first stage is that I can rapidly dispel accusations before they mushroom if this stage is used quickly enough. So I should say I have 2 stages. The first stage does not have the deep analysis of a position. It compiles a box score of agreements with the computer and the amount of error, average center pawn loss in my scaled version. And very quickly, within an hour of the game's finishing, for instance, can provide a global picture of the statistical health of a tournament and highlight, things that might need closer look.
And actually, as our grandmaster in the studio, David Howell, has pointed out, that if you're a smart cheater, of course you're not going to make the perfect moves every time. Is the program designed to reveal that if you're cheating in a smart way, not always making those perfect moves?
There are features I've added to the program to try to enable that. In particular, it can use a distribution that upweights critical positions. It has to have its own way, a non-chess way of identifying critical positions based on the flux in values of the moves and how much the player to move stands to lose from a plausible bad decision. So that can therefore.
I try to account for. I mean, like I said, I mean, we'll get to the end of this, but I already had some thoughts from something else that I listened to, but this makes me really, this troubles me a lot. Let me put it that way.
I agree, by the way, with the statistic that Simon quoted just before about how one bit of information about whether a given move works can be worth 150 ELO points. That's Viswanathan Kanan's estimate.
Wow.
However, during the pandemic, it transpired.
Well, wait a second. So wait. I'm going to go back for a second. Let me try to understand this.
150 ELO points.
No, let me go back another 10 seconds.
Likely to have sought aid. I completely agree, by the way, with the statistic that Simon quoted just before about how one bit of information about whether a given move works can be worth 150 ELO.
Okay, so he agrees with that.
Okay. Anna's estimate.
Wow.
However, during the pandemic, it transpired that the cheating that was encountered in volume was not so smart. And then it's actually better to use the original unit-weighted version of my model because...
So when he says... Actually, again, this is complicated too, because he says pandemic. I can't tell if he's talking about over the board or online. So when he says pandemic, I'm going to assume he means over the board, but he mentions... I guess he means over the board still, right? I'm a little bit confused. No, he means... So, he said pandemic. I can't tell when he says pandemic. Does he mean online or over the board? I can't tell what he means. He means online. And this is the thing I was going to say. This, I think, again, this is why there's such a difference between online and over the board at the end of the day, is because, when you're playing in person, as an example, you can't go to the game, open your phone, and be, playing with your phone and just make the best move. You can't do that, obviously. You get caught cheating. But at home, you can theoretically do that. You can just have your phone over here, off the camera, whatever, and just literally find it. Which of course, because of that, online, I think probably people are stupid enough to think that, okay, well, you can actually just do it every single move in a different kind of way because it's not right out there. Whereas over the board, you can't do that. Whereas online, you can literally just someone can watch my stream, I'm playing them in an arena, and they can be they can look at their phone, play the best move, and that's that. And that's not smart, obviously. So I think that's why it's very that's why there's a very big difference between the two. Because online, nobody's watching you. You're at home, nobody's watching you. I mean, for the top level events, of course, they are. But for just a fun, casual game, it's anybody can do it. Anyone can do it. So that's why there's such a huge difference between the two.
When you clump up a distribution with weighting, you can increase the standard deviation, which is the denominator of my z-score.
The more we talk about, the more we educate would-be cheaters. I mean, I'm gonna have to talk about that too later as well. Yeah,
exactly. And I think you already said it, Kenneth, but that game in St. Louis between Magnus and Hans, that Hans won. You did not find anything suspicious in that game.
No, I mean, Neiman played well, but not too well. So I reported C-scores very much deep in the normal range. I mean, positive, but not even near 2. And 2 is the civic idea of significance.
So it's 2.
FIDE uses a higher threshold.
So basically he's saying there's some mathematical thing that's 2. Of course I don't know what he's saying, but he's saying 2 is basically, there's some formula where if it's 2, it's probably what, like very likely. But FIDE, I guess, is a higher one. Is that what he's saying? 2 sigma? Okay.
2.5. When there is other evidence
standard
that the
deviation,
statistical
okay,
results can support, and a vastly higher threshold needed, or at least proposed, in cases where statistics would be the only evidence.
And have you ever found anything suspicious in Hans Niemann's game, if it is over the board or online?
So most in particular, and I've now have leave to reveal this publicly. So as I said, I have 2 stages. I have a screening stage, and I do every Monday an omnibus screening of all of the tournaments in the Week in Chess and Chess Base updates. And in total, since 2+ years ago, I have 106 data points from Hans Neiman, including his online tournaments, Title Tuesday and the Chess.com Coinbase events. And I obtained a completely normal distribution, centered on 49.8. My screening stage scale is
I don't know what he's saying exactly, obviously,
50, the same scale as flipping a coin 100 times. When restricted to over-the-board tournaments, the center notched up only a little bit to 51.4. And this stands in huge contrast to what I observed of Igor's rouses. Not quite as many tournaments were available via those updates. He played in a lot of lesser tournaments that I didn't get.
Igor uneducated, yeah.
But from 20 of those tournaments, every one of his screening scores was above 50. And several above 60. So it was clear that he was always performing above average. So that's a very definite contrast. So that's why I say
they're talking about rouses.
That at least as shown by my first stage, there is no evidence of any cheating in in-person tournaments or the major
I need a whiteboard? Yeah,
tournaments
totally.
In the past 2+ years. And I had communicated that privately to principal people everywhere. And I've revealed it publicly in response to a website called Pornalyze, run by someone named Caleb Wetherill, who claims that he has run simulations of those tournaments and reached the conclusion that Neiman performed considerably above average. So we have results that conflict with each other.
Interesting.
I'm measuring different things. I'm measuring concordance to the engines much more directly. He's measuring the results of the games, which depend on the opponents. And one data point in particular, where we'll need to do a lot more work to see if this is relevant in the large, but just about Neiman's surprisingly strong win in the Havana Kappa Memorial last April. He scored 7.5 out of 9. His screening scores were actually just about 50 or even a little under, depending on which engine I used for my test. But his opponents played much worse. His opponents had by far the greatest average center-pawn loss. So that might explain why he harvested 7.5 points out of 9, whereas the direct test of information from the engine shows a little bit subnormal. So I have to say, you must be the smartest cheater in the world if you can get critical information at points in the games, win your games, and yet produce a result that shows up with me as less than 50, less than expectation agreement with the engine.
Wait, what?
I'll tip my cap to you if you can do that.
Wait a second. Wait. That last bit does not make sense. I'm going to be honest. That last bit actually scares me what he's saying. Because he's essentially, as I read it, as I read that last bit that he's saying, it sounds to me like what he's trying to imply that like it's impossible for someone to just cheat on 1 or 2 moves at a critical moment. Like, am I crazy? Like, doesn't he just say that? Isn't it? I mean, he's essentially, like for example, like this has been stated in Super GM circles 1,000 times now. Like Magnus has said it before, where it's we're literally like all that we would need, even Gary says we need one move. If we know one move or we know the evaluation of critical position, we would just dominate and we'd all be like the best by like a country mile, not even close. But yeah, like I don't know because like I'm betting theoretically, like if there was a way to do it, it's one move, it's not detectable. Like I don't know, there were no cheating measures in Havana, I'm pretty sure, just to be clear. But anyway,
which is a very cool cap, by the way. Buffalo, it's a Buffalo.
Yes, well, so I'm in Buffalo, as the university at Buffalo.
So he's saying it's impossible to cheat on one move and not have him see it in his calculations. That is what he's saying. Yeah, really. So that is what he's saying. No. Oh, so my chat is wrong on that. Okay. Again, I don't know. I mean, I'm not some like math whiz, so I don't really I don't get the whole thing. But no. Okay. Yeah, he's not saying that. Okay, I mean, again, I'm not gonna understand because I'm uneducated, of course. But I can go back.
Let's produce a win at points in the games. If you can get critical information at points in the games, win your games, and yet produce a result that shows up with me as less than 50,
that's what he's
less
saying.
Than expectation agreement with the engine. I'll tip my cap.
That is what he's saying. No, that's exactly what he's saying. I mean, as this guy Gregory Morse in my chat just wrote, it says this guy's catching 99% of mainstream idiot cheaters, not specialty cheaters. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I listened to another thing that he did recently, and that's actually what really worries me about it. I mean, really worries me about this is that I feel like, honestly, if you're trying to, and again, the problem with this is people like even like people like me or other super GMs, like we're not objective in a sense. Like maybe there's some way you can do a blind test, although frankly we've already seen all of Han's games, so it'd be irrelevant in regards to Han's. But like as I see it, like I don't think, yeah, okay, I mean I can go back, whatever, I mean doesn't matter. But I mean as I see it, like he's essentially saying if someone cheats on one move or two moves, it's undetectable, period. Like it's just not detectable. That is what he's saying there. So again, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, this is a very, very serious thing, and it does worry me. It does worry me. No, I mean, maybe not. I don't know, but I mean, the way it feels to me is it feels like the models. Anybody who's like just straight up cheating is going to get caught. Period. Every time by this model, 100%. That's my general read. If you can make a critical move and still be less than 50%, hats off to you. Really? Okay. Really. I mean, as a super GM, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I mean, I wonder if I go through my games against Magnus, the number of times that, of course, I've lost him a bazillion times, but the number of times that I've gotten like a much worse position out of the opening, and there's probably like one critical moment where if I knew what the move was, I could find it. I bet in most of the games I lost to Magnus. Even if there's probably some point where I was much worse out of the opening, but one moment, if I could find the one critical move, I probably wouldn't have lost most of those games. Is my read. But again, at the end of the day, like maybe I'm misunderstanding what he's saying. That's always possible. But at the end, it sounded like he was just saying like if you can cheat on one move, but you're like still at that 50 mark or whatever, then like you're then like it would show up based off one move. I mean, again, I could just be misreading the whole situation. Yeah, that's what he's saying. Finding one moment to cheat, that's impossible. I mean, maybe I don't know. He said the model's looking at critical moves again. Like, what are critical moves? Like, because a critical move to a computer is very different than a human. Like, I can give you like examples even. Like, if we look at this game that Hans just played, there like all these moves are not crazy. They're just normal. Like, this is literally the critical position in the game. This is the critical. Or sorry, you guys can't see the board. I'm an idiot. But like in this game, this is really this moment or maybe this moment. These are the only two critical moments in the game. That's it. These are the only two critical moments. End of story. So let me see. So like even if this is a bad version of Stockfish, okay, Rook C8 for example, best move, very very human move, of course, and what, knight D5, Queen D8, C4 or something, and then E6. I mean, like already I feel like if I know to play Rook C8 here, it'll be very easy for me to play the next like 5 moves quickly. He means tactics, maybe. Yeah, I don't know, but I will say again, I'm not going to pretend to understand the math behind it. But I'm this leaves me feeling very, very, very unsure of the future. Very unsure. As a math master student, any statistics Any statistics method is to find distribution, meaning that he's trying to find general distribution or performance. So the case you're mentioning, one move cheat, is nearly impossible to detect using any statistical methods. Well, you know, if that's the reality, if that is the reality of the chess world that you live in, where like if someone could find some way to do it for one move period, let's just say it's possible to do it for one move, I mean, I don't really see how professional chess continues in the long run. I really don't see how it's possible. And I mean, that actually really scares me a lot. But at the same time, the problem, as I was saying before, is that like for super GMs, like people are not unbiased, so you can't like you have to find some blind test way to do it, and that's how you can and that's maybe how you can get some idea. But still, that doesn't mean that just because I find, like, for example, even this game, I find G4 odd. It's not a move that I would probably ever consider playing here. I would probably play A4. A4 is probably the most likely move I would play. I would never consider it. But does that mean that someone else can't come up with it? No, that doesn't mean that. So that's what makes it very, very tough. That's what makes it very, very tough about this. Because like for me, if someone plays G4, I'd be like, okay, what is this move? This is not a human move. Because to me, it's not human. But that doesn't mean someone else couldn't find it. So it's very tough. Super GM should work together with guys like this and test what happens if a super GM asks for moves. Yeah, but it's going to take a lot of work, probably. It's going to take a lot of work to work on that. So, yeah, I mean, it's not easy. But yeah, this is not even really about Hans at the moment. It's just like, it really concerns me, like the possibility that if someone could just like get access for one move and that would be enough. Like G4 is not a natural move. You've castled kingside. It's a very unusual move. That doesn't mean it's like insane, but it's unusual because when you castle, you don't just start flinging pawns in front of your king right away. So at some point, FIDE would need to include interviews with the suspect about their games reviewed by a panel of people, right? And that's going to take a lot of time, a lot of money. I mean, I don't know what the answer is. Yeah, I know I'm on the wrong scene. Sorry, you guys, but it actually, if anything, just listening to what he's saying, it worries me. You should try to cheat on your other 3,000 accounts and see how much till you get caught. You know, chess.com a while back, they basically asked me to see if I could do it. Like I could create a random 1,500 account and see if I could beat their whatever their algorithm is. It was probably like 3 years ago or something. They asked me, but like I couldn't bring myself to do it because it's just like too gross and grimy, and like why would I like yeah, they did like I think it was 3 years ago. They asked me, it was like, just go create a random account and see like, and go play and see if you can somehow like beat our algorithm. They did ask me that. So I don't know. I mean, everything though, all of this just worries me. This could even turn around against you. Yeah, I mean, of course, like, yeah, I was just like, okay, like, you know, it's like at first you're just like, okay, maybe, but the problem is just like, then you're just like, ugh, it's just gross all around. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what the answer is, but I'm very worried about the future. I feel like if we look at things, you going for do it. Nah, I mean, no. And this is also why, like, when we talk about cheating, like I will say this too, like when you talk about cheating, one of the reasons I refuse to talk about these methods, even though they're well documented, is because I honestly believe that if I spoke about that on my stream, if someone's like master level, they probably could go to their weekend tournament. They could go to their weekend tournament, probably use any number of these methods, cheat, and win money. I really do believe that. So that's like why I refuse to ever talk about any of the specific stuff, because I really do feel like if I did that, someone who's master level could go to their weekend tournament, win like $200, and that's it. I do believe that. I believe that. I mean, 100%. I believe that. I really do. I'm full of it. What do you mean I'm full of it? There's no security at your weekend event, you dumbass. Like, chill out. Thank you so much, Jay Samuel. Still time to get banned. Sorry for cursing, but yeah, I mean, seriously, there's no security at your weekend event. No security. I mean, yeah, you're gone, dude. You're gone. So yep, goodbye, dude. Thank you. Yeah, now I'm starting to become like Hassan a little bit. Okay, so let's cover the game that is going on. We have the game versus Prague versus Hans. Okay, Nimzo, nothing too crazy, but yeah. Maybe he meant that if you're cheating. No, he's basically saying I'm full of it. As somebody who's played I played like in the Marshall Chess Club my entire life, and I've played many tournaments, World Open, other events in the US. Like, I've seen it. There is no security. There's no security except at top level events, plain and simple. There just isn't. So like when people think that I'm just like making this up, like you're basically discounting my 25 years of playing tournaments and acting like I don't know anything. No, I know fully well. I know fully well. He means full of expertise. Yeah, that's a good one. Position looks awful. This is a weird position because like it doesn't look great because you see the diagonal, but on the other hand you have the bishop combo. You have the bishop pair, and white can't get in with knight f5. At some point you have d4 c4 as well. Yeah, so like at the end of the day, like that's the thing, like that's why I will not talk about it, because I really believe that like if there's a weekend tournament with like $100 top prize, someone who's like master level could do that, and they would just they would be able to cheat, get away with it, and win prize money. That's why I refuse to ever do that. I refuse to. No security. Also, the problem is like you can't have the security except at top level events, because I mean an organizer's putting up like a prize fund of $100. Like that's very great. You have a weekend tournament with $100 prize. That's real money. But at the end of the day, what now that organizers supposed to spend like another $2,000 or something on security? Maybe $2,000 is too much because it's just a wand, but like you're asking the organizers to then have all this extra security, and they have to spend extra money on top of the prize fund, and that's just not gonna ever happen. That's simply the reality. So we have more stuff to get to, but I'll leave it on the game for a second. I am gonna go use the restroom. I'll be right back. I have to say, like, I really do like black's position here, this g6 h5 h4 as well. So we'll see. Anyway, I'm gonna take a break, put some music on, and we'll be right back, you guys.
Sara1 just subscribed. Matter Hora has gifted 5 subs to viewers.
Whoa, thanks so much to Matter Horror for the 5 gifted subs. Thank you so much to Matter Horror. Appreciate it. Shoefish thing with Raspberry Pi is actually simple, cheap, and accessible. Don't even like I said. I mean, I just won't talk about it because I really do believe. I do believe that if I said like some of these methods, I do believe someone could go to their weekend tournament and cheat, and I refuse to do that ever. I will say, however, speaking of Ken Regan, though, this is one thing that you do have to say, though, is I mean, I do applaud him for trying to do this, because honestly, like many things in the chess world, a lot of these things don't have money in them, and people just do it because they love the game of chess. So I will say that in terms of Ken Regan, I do applaud him for trying to do it, because like there are many examples of this. But like, for example, so if you look at chess software, this is a great example. There's this program called ChessBase, and ChessBase, basically it's been like it was a premier software in like the 90s. It was actually kind of hip at the time, but like it's not, I mean, nowadays it's not, I mean, it's not really hip, and it's been around so long, and privately everybody is like, oh my god, ChessBase, worst chess program ever. Like you have like, I can't count the number of times I've had some conversation with the other like GMs, and they're like, man, the software is so bad, it's just so bad. Everyone's like always like complaining. It's like, why isn't there something better than this? And the reason is because, of course, at the end of the day, there's no money in it, so like no programmers are gonna like go create something that's like really good and way better than it. So it's like, that's like one example. And then when you look at like the cheating stuff, to use another example, it's the same thing, where it's like it takes a lot of time, there's no money in it, and it's so like, why do people want to do that? So, you know, you have to give him credit, because he is trying to do something that is very thankless, and I think he does it because he loves the game of chess. Arthur Pimp says I'm gonna go do it. Yeah, I mean, people have been saying that for like the last 20 years. They're gonna go make better software, but there's no money in it. Like, so why would anybody do it? So that, you know, you do have to say that. So yeah, thank you so much to Brett Weaver for the 26 months. Thank you so much to Dr. Dan Street Mentioner. Thank you to Duddy Kong for the 14 months. Thank you so much to Shockadins for the 21, Shuffle-Muffalo for the 6 months. Appreciate. Thank you to Vampire for the 2, Predator for the 13, John Remove for the 2, Anonymous, W. Ryle, Ticked and Twisted, Mujalan, Bacon Fish, and Luvistar GR. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. So yeah, I have definitely thought about making better software. I mean, like I said, privately, every GM is like, they're just like, man, chess base, what's bad? I mean, first of all, if you aren't using the most recent version, half the time it just crashes for no reason, no matter what you're doing. There are issues loading multiple engines. I mean, I could, you know, transposition stuff that doesn't exist. Ironic, by the way, that I bring up transpositions, but yeah. And so like, it just goes on and on and on and on, like, and the number of people who said things. So yeah. Anyway, by the way, what is Prag doing? Isn't he just like much worse? I guess, let me see. Yeah, he's just much worse, right? Yeah, d4, h4, h3, and queen d5, and like, yeah. Anyway. So yeah, I tried ChessBase for free and it's horrible. I spent a few years building up ChessBase alternatives. It's just a huge undertaking. Yeah. Apparently B3 was a blunder. I see a yellow, so apparently it's a blunder. Yeah. So, all right. We still have more stuff to cover, but we'll watch the game and then go from there. Do I do DMs? No, I don't do DMs. But we still have a lot more to go on this. Like, we still have like another 5 things to cover. So I guess we'll wait for the end of this game and then we'll keep going. So yeah, big shout out to 18,000 you guys who are watching on this fine Tuesday afternoon. So yeah, we're covering the chess drama. I might talk about some of the other drama too. Obviously, you know, the fact that I also got some DMs, I have some strong opinions on all the topics that are going on with Twitch as well, like the stuff with like XUC Train versus, you know, like Hassan and Pokemon and everybody else. So yeah, I might talk a bit about that a little bit later on as well. So yeah, Midskiff drama, I'm aware of it, but I mean, it's not like I know anything about it. So yeah, I mean, I don't really know why I should say anything. Yeah. I know people have said Magnus played poorly against Hans. Wouldn't anyone look poor against a computer? That is true, but that's not really the fact. I mean, the real question is, if Magnus thinks that Hans is cheating, which I mean, I feel pretty confident now. Like, I mean, I wasn't that. I mean, I was like, I felt very confident, but I wasn't like 99% sure. Now I'm like 9. I mean, there's nothing else that makes any sense. It's plain and simple. He thinks something happened. That's all there is to it. People can choose to hang on to like prep or whatever other nonsense there is, but that's not the reality. So based off of that, you know, the fact that Magus thinks Hans cheated, whether he thinks it was before, during the game, whatever, like who knows what is said. If Magus thought that something was wrong, he would have played worse than he normally does if he thought something was wrong, regardless of whether anything was happening. But he would have played worse. Magus thinks Hans cheated, but when? That's the question. Yeah, I mean, who knows? It's a winning position against Prag in 20 moves. I mean, the whole situation is just very untenable because, again, like I said, if people have any doubt or they're like suspicious of anything, they're gonna play much worse against him every game. They're gonna play much worse against Hans, plain and simple. That's all there is to it. That's just the reality. So yeah. But anyway. So. All right, waiting for a move. I mean, again, this just looks terrible, right? Black's just winning here. He's winning out of the opening again. I mean, yeah. Let's talk lawsuits. Who are Hans's lawyers? Yeah, good one, you guys. Good one. No, I mean, my read on all of that, I mean, just rookie 3 and rookie 8. I mean, it's just terrible for White. What was I saying? I was saying something. Yeah, my read on all the stuff regarding that is quite straightforward in general terms, which is that, like, you know, Hans was busy yelling at everybody, including me. He was busy yelling at everybody, and then as soon as chess.com put out that statement, my read of it is that basically when they did that, Hans basically realized that, like, if they put that out, chess.com suspects or knows that he's done something more. And chess.com knows that, and then Hans suddenly goes quiet, which my read of that is basically was probably told by lawyers to just, like, you know, not say anything because they have proof. That's my 2 cents on all of it. So yeah. What was that? What? Is that a troll or is that for real? Is that, wait, did RG Ferg 345 G3 just donate $1,000?
Donated $1,000. Neiman didn't cheat.
Okay. Thank you for the $1,000. Thank you for the $1,000. Appreciate it. I guess that's real, right? I don't know. I guess that's real. Yeah, I guess that's real. Thank you for the $1,000. Appreciate it. Did I see the message that says Neiman didn't cheat? Yes, I saw the message.
Just took $5 out of Bezos's pocket.
Wow, thank you so much to Ikazumi for the 2 and X the King. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for the $1,000. Appreciate it. One spin. I will talk about Gamba later, you guys. I'm not talking about Gamba right now. Oh, that's Hans's lawyer. Thank you to my God for the Prime. Thank you so much. Yeah. Do I think he forfeits? Magnus is going to forfeit 100%. 100% he's going to forfeit. 100%. Yeah. I mean, this is just over. Just bishop a6. This is just terrible. a5 is not that. Thank you, ASJ. See, this is the other problem that I'm going to say. So, like, I know Chad's going to say a5 is the Neiman didn't cheat. That's pretty straightforward. He didn't cheat. He's saying he didn't cheat. What else can it mean? I mean,
hope to see you in Toronto.
I don't know what else it can mean. I read the message, but I didn't understand the message. It says Neiman didn't cheat. What? I mean, he's saying that he thinks Hans didn't cheat. Like, I mean, what? Am I stupid? I mean, I don't pretend to be smart, obviously, but am I stupid? Yeah. So thank you so much, Cyan Princey. Thank you to Amanda's Scene. Thank you to Scrap. Thank you to Chess Depth for the 6 months. Appreciate it. See, this is the problem. So, like, a5 is the top computer move, but to me, a5 is not weird at all. It's a very normal move. Just a5 and bishop a6 is very normal. So, like, this is not weird, but again, people are gonna say, okay, top computer move, and I bet it's the best move by a margin, but it's not a weird move. This is the problem. Like, g4 was a weird move. a5 is not weird at all. No, a5 is just very standard here. Yeah. So, anyway. Yeah. They're telling you what to think. Okay. Thanks so much to Somer Himson for the 9. Thank you to RG Ferg 345 G3 for the tier 1. Appreciate it. Thank you so much to R Ferguson 345 G3. Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah. No, a5 is not weird. This is why it's so hard, because like a5 to me is as human as it gets. Like, yes, it's the best move by a big margin. It gives black an overwhelming advantage, but it's a very normal move. Oh, now they have a clip of Hikaru saying Neiman didn't cheat. Good one, you guys. Good one. Good one. Yeah. Would I say that I have a bias to believe Magnus? I mean, what I would say about the topic is, regardless of what's being said publicly, as I've said many times, and there are other super GMs would corroborate this as well, is that, like, these rumors are not new. These rumors have been around for a very, very long time, and so everybody's been feeling very unsure. Now, what happened with Magnus? I mean, nobody really knows what the situation truly is. Thank you so much, Sergeant Chrome, for the 2. Thank you so much, Booty Doctor, for the gift of sub to Hands. Okay, good one, you guys. Thank you, appreciate it. Yeah. Good one. Yeah, good one. It's like, yeah, you're getting me like, Neiman did cheat, he did, like, yeah, you're just trying to get me to say all of it. Okay, I mean, black's just completely crushing here. I don't even know what the best move is. Like, knight h5 looks very attractive. Rook e3 looks good. What other moves? I mean, you could even just trade, frankly, and go knight h5, but yeah, this structure is terrible. I mean, Prague is just falling apart here, and as I said before, this is the other problem with the whole situation. At the end of the day, psychologically, it's going to start affecting everybody too. Like, nobody is playing without having heard it. And again, I will say this: even if you think nothing has happened, if Hans is playing really, really well every move, it's going to creep into your mind. It's going to start creeping into your mind. It doesn't affect Hans at all. How does it affect Hans? No, for Hans, I mean, it doesn't affect him at all. Doesn't affect him. So yeah, I mean, Anish was fine. Yeah, things are tripping me for the 4. Yeah, knight h5 is not a shocking move either. Like, again, as I said, very human, although apparently it's a bad move because white gets the knight in. Interesting. Yesterday Magnus applauded the Prague game against him. It was a statement by Magnus that he appreciates good play but not cheating. Yeah, I mean, it's as I said, I know a lot of people, for whatever reason, they're just I'll say it, are kind of delusional and want to believe there's some other explanation. There is no other explanation. It is what it is. So yeah, I guess we should try Rookley for the prime. Appreciate it. So yeah. Okay, knight takes f4 there. No, I guess knight d6 are still queen g5 and knight h3 because of the pin. Yeah, hair's blowing like a 90s song. Okay, yeah. I wouldn't say start saying people are losing because they're suspicious. If you like, this is something that Ken Regan could probably answer, but like if he looks at these games, if you suddenly start seeing people all playing below where whatever the math is for that, but they're all playing well below where they normally play, I mean, to me that's pretty clear cut. That's pretty clear cut and dry. To me that's very clear cut and dry. If everybody's just suddenly playing worse, you can't just pretend that it's like random. Yeah. So anyway, could also be psychological. Like I said, yes, of course, it's affecting them. Yeah. What I think about what Anish said yesterday about Hans got into his head, maybe, I don't know. That's what he was saying about Havana. Everyone Hans played worse. I mean, I am aware of the other stuff too. Like the two things that I've heard a lot in regards to like if people assume that something happened are the one thing is like this video analysis of Hans's games in Charlotte and in Havana, where I mean, like one of those Havana games, he played like 20 computer moves in the end game, I think, all top moves for the version of Stockfish at the time. There's that, and there's the second thing, which is he always gained points when his terms were broadcast, and he was losing points when they weren't broadcast. And I mean, I'm kind of curious to hear what someone like Ken Regan has to say about that, because that seems kind of statistically that seems way outside the norm. I don't know, that seems way outside the norm. Like if someone's like gaining points nonstop on broadcast and like literally losing nothing but losing points on off broadcast, seems like kind of crazy. But again, that's what I'm aware of. Again, I would be curious to hear what people like Ken Regan have to say about that. I'm kind of curious, because also then there was also like, didn't Alexei Shirov just said something like he said something like he thought Hans had cheated. Like I think Shirov just flat out said it. So yeah, who knows. Thanks so much to Talk Lucy for the or Talk Lucky for the 6th. Thank you, Adu, for the 3 months. Appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah.
The 2 greatest chess games ever.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Has Magnus lost any other games this turn besides when he resigned? I don't think so. No, he's been rolling. Maybe he lost a game today, but he's been rolling. Thank you so much to Lewis Workland. Now, the one thing I want to see is what are the standings? Because again, the problem is we know Magnus is just going to resign if they play. Let me pull up the actual standings. Let's see. What do we have? How many games was Hans broadcast? I think it was actually quite a few. It wasn't like 2 turns, it was like 12 tournaments or something, but yeah. Let's see. Okay, standings. Magnus is number 1. Where Hans is number 5. I mean, I kind of want to see where Hans finishes, because did I see Levant's interview yesterday when he pretty much did a 360 about Hans? Yes, I did see it. I mean, it's very clear that he had some conversation. I don't know if it was chess.com or like chess24, but he had some conversation, and there was a lot of stuff that he didn't know, I'm guessing, and then he didn't know, and then he found out. Yeah, these are nihilistic for the 13. It was just Schmagus for the prime. Queen a5 is apparently a big blunder. Apparently, well, yeah, why didn't he play bishop d4? This is kind of an obvious move to go knight f6. I mean, I guess rook e6 holds, but yeah, bishop d4 was bizarrely. Oh wait, no, it isn't, because if knight f6 here, I take and you lose. So maybe this is why Prag didn't do it. He saw knight e2. Wait, but why is knight e2 not? Oh no, my stockfish is just bad. This is just winning. Although I guess you have bishop c3 and you have multiple battery ideas, so not trivial. But anyway, queen a5 played here. Oh, there's one more day. I thought today was the last day. Oh, Oh, I thought it was 12 games. Oh, it's 15. Oh, no wonder. Oh, it's 15. No wonder everybody. I was like, when I saw some of these comments about it, like how he's giving him three points, I was like, okay, it's bad, but I didn't understand why everybody was so mad. But now I get it, because with 15 rounds, yeah, that there is no guarantee that Hans would have made it in. So his 3 points are really crucial. And also, just looking at the top 8 right now, Hans is 17 and 9th has 15. Yikes. Thank you so much to Blast Relius for the Prime. Thank you so much to Blast Relius. Appreciate it. Yeah. Why are no other players suspecting enough to make a similar point or just support Magnus? I mean, I think people, again, the way the chess world is structured with FIDE, if you outright say someone has done something, you kind of have to prove it, or they can discipline you. That's how it goes, plain and simple. Now, do they not really? Because, like, as an example, Topolov, when he accused Krenwig of cheating and nothing was found, I think they basically, like, it was like no big deal. So again, like, I think that's the main reason you don't hear about it. Discipline me harder, FIDE. What could Magnus have figured out that made him withdraw as Hans was invited to earlier Chess 24 events? That I don't know. My guess is probably he went to St. Louis and he probably heard something from any number of the players who were playing there about it, and then he had his game. He was just like, okay, like, I don't know exactly what I can prove or not prove, but I've had enough of this, and there's too much, like, smoke, and I'm just, yeah, I'm not gonna have any part of it. That's my guess. That's just my general read. So we'll see. Do I think Magnus has actual evidence? I have no idea. I don't know. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But I mean, I feel like if he had clear evidence, he would have just put it out right away. That's my guess. World champion finds out last about the serial online cheating history. I mean, I don't really believe that. Again, I mean, as I've said many times, like, one of the things that's very weird about this whole situation as well is, like, a lot of people are very angry about the situation, or people sort of in the chess world, but people who are like not in the chess world, because they're not like at these top tournaments, they're not around grandmasters all the time. So, like, for a lot of people, it seems like this came out of left field. It's like this very random situation that, like, materialized from nowhere. And I know some people think, like, clicks, all these other things, but the fact is, in the grandmaster world, this has been around for a long time. This is not a new rumor, and my guess is Magnus probably heard something in St. Louis that, like, made him really uneasy. And then when we had the actual game and the way the game went, maybe there's something in the game, maybe there wasn't, but that triggered it all. That's my guess. Magnus is winning. Or where is Magnus's game? He's playing Boris Gelfand. Knight c4 is a big blunder. Why is it some big blunder? Oh, maybe you can go queen d3 and you have some knight g3. And actually it's just over. You rook c. Oh, it's just over. And g4, I think knight e4 cuts him off, and it's just mate in one. Yeah, Magnus won't miss this, I don't think. Unless his tactics are rusty, he's not going to miss this knight g3 trick. It's why cheating in chess, online or not, doesn't just ban you for life. I mean, the only good thing that I think is going to come out of this is that they're going to have to be real discussions about, like, you know, are they going to leave it separate? Are there going to be, like, is going to be coordinated between, like, FIDE and chess.com and Lichess, or, like, that's the only good thing that's going to come out of this, is that I think there's going to be something's going to happen. That's my guess. In Hans's game, I assume you go, well, but there's probably some idea with, like, bishop b7 and some knight g3 and something with, like, a back rank, or I don't quite know what, but something like that. Do I think Magnus knew about Hans's earlier online cheating before inviting him? I find it hard to believe. Again, it seems very unlikely to me that it was the first he heard of it. That's because, like I said, like, I'm not even in the chess world anymore, and I've been aware of it for a very long time too. So I mean, it's like, to me it seems impossible. It seems impossible that Magnus wasn't aware of it. Who found it? Magnus found it? Yeah, it's not that surprising. I mean, it's just a classic check with a fork and then a fossil, game over. Yeah. Magnus will have been undergoing discovery and due diligence with chess.com regarding the purchase of play Magnus. It might have come up in more detail during that. I mean, I don't know how all that works with, like, buyouts and things, but that's not crazy, actually. That's not crazy. It's possible. I don't know, but it is possible. It is possible. Thank you so much, Ooh, for the tier 1. Luke Thompson for the Prime, and Beast Greed for the Prime. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. So yeah. Oh, there's actually a very nice tactic here. I just realized you can go rook c. There might be a really nice checkmate with D's knights. You can go knight g4, and you get this really beautiful checkmate, and the king is stuck. This would be kind of sexy. And if white plays like, actually white doesn't even have a good move here other than rook f1. That would be kind of cool if this happens. Yeah, D's knights are powerful. In fact, that just looks winning to me unless I'm blind. Maybe not. We'll see. I mean, there's also something like rook c2 and maybe, I guess e4. There's still 91. Maybe you just go e4. No, e4 95. Not so simple. Yeah. Thanks so much to Icy Heel. Just in the last few months, we have watched several of your online results. Yeah.
Lengua Tacos XXX just took.
Thanks for Lenguas Tacos for the 15 months. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Maggie will next sit down shake with Hans.
Yeah.
Design simultaneously.
What has the chess drama done for viewing figures? I mean, it's been fine, but like I know Hans like decided to get really mad at me and said like I'm doing it to get like viewership or subs or you know something like that. I mean it's fine, but it's not like some huge change. So let's see what's happening here. Okay, so Magnus still thinking. Let's go back to Hans's game. What do we have? Okay, so we got what I expected to happen. Yeah, I mean this what knight g3, knight e4. I mean Prague is hanging on by like the thinnest of threads here. I assume he's losing, but he might still be okay. There's still bishop b6. Maybe I mean maybe he's hanging by a thread. We'll see. Yeah. Hans didn't have a way to respond to Magnus, so he chose you as a knee-jerk reaction. I guess he did. Yeah, that's what it is. Oh, this also works, right? Or not? Wait, this looks wrong somehow. Wait, you're threatening d8. Actually, where's the win? Let me turn on the lines. Oh, this isn't winning. Wait, this is not winning. This is a big blunder, actually. Yeah, takes and rook d8. Let's see. Well, Prague. I mean, I think Prague will find it. Otherwise, he's losing. I mean, what was the win though? Was it knight g3 or was it something? It was knight g3. Oh, and then it's queen h5. Good God. Queen h5 and queen. Yeah, too much. Just too much. Yeah. Yeah, rook d8 is the only move. Will he find it? I think he will because it's the only move. I mean, you go rook d8, knight g3, king h2, and you see there's no checkmate, and then you just pray that it works. Yeah. That's what you do. I don't understand why no one's talking about Magnus for the competitive integrity of back-to-back tournaments now. I mean, Singfield Cup, like, is one thing. I feel like this event, my general take on it is that Magnus, of course, could have withdrawn if he wanted to, but you have to realize at the end of the day for Magnus, he owns a big portion of this company of Play Magnus, and he is trying to keep it going until yeah, king h1. There's no checkmate because you cover g1. I mean, like, he's got to get this deal. He wants this deal done. This deal will net him $8 million, $9 million, whatever it is. That's a lot of, that's like a lot of freaking money. So like he still has an obligation to kind of play his terms and keep things like going. So it's I mean that's the thing. I think people, yes, of course I don't really think it's right, but I mean yeah, it's a cash thing and to protect his company employees. Yeah, so king h2. I didn't say it's fair, by the way. I did not say it's fair. I don't think it's fair. But I think at the end of the day, I think that's a large part of it. Thank you so much to Hikaru for the win for the 13 months. Thank you so much. Yeah. It's not against the rules, but still, like, I don't know. I mean, it's just tough. It's just a tough situation. But I mean, at the end of the day, we are talking about an issue that I think is going to be very serious going into the future as well. And his dad also gets cash that are sold. He can't back out. C24 can't kick Hans out without being sued, so here we are. Probably true. Yeah, I mean, like, if it's chess.com, which from everything from the way everything is worded, I mean, the way everything's worded sounds to me very much like chess.com has like hard proof that he's I mean, I think they have hard proof that he's cheated. I mean, he can't do anything because chess.com obviously, like, they'll just go to court, everything comes out in discovery, and he's just like, I mean, all of his talk probably isn't gonna work. But chess24 doesn't, they're not in that situation, I assume. Like, they don't have the data chess.com has for, I mean, obviously they don't, so there's nothing they can do. Thank you to W Grinds for the prime and Big Turquoise Turtle for the prime. Yeah, just King H. This is gonna be a draw. Amazing, as we like to say. Amazing stuff. Yeah. No, it's a draw because you lose if you take, you just lose the knight at the end. I mean, it's still probably close to a draw, but it's problematic. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna get a draw here because if you go knight g3, it's check here, and then I guess queen e1, rook e1, doesn't really matter which one, but you cut off the checkmate in the corner, and it's just GG. Magnus leads even after gifting 3 points to Hans. Well, that's the thing. That's also the thing that's really puzzling about it is, I mean, Magnus. I don't really know, but to me, like, the fact that Magnus was able to just lose that game, come back and play a beautiful game and win against Levon, like, it's really perplexing to me because, like, it seems like for any normal human that would have a big effect on you. You might still win a game, but like, just come back and win the next game as though like literally nothing has happened. I mean, just, it's amazing. I don't even know what to say. It's wild. So okay, so this game does end in a draw. So let me take a look at the standings. What do we have in Julius Baer? We have all pretty normal. We'll get back to more clips and things. We have Hans is on 18. It looks like still a lot of people right behind him. Very close. Yeah. Magnus is built different. I mean, I guess, like, I don't know. To me, like, I could never do it like that. He did have extra time, I guess, to think about everything, right? Yeah. Do folks understand that if a tournament sued a player for fraud by cheating the standard of proof would not be innocent until proven guilty? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's like never happened. That's the thing. So yeah, it's what it is. Anish and Levon are doing interviews. Okay. Okay, I guess, yeah, I mean, I guess let's pull it up, right? Pull it up, let's see what's being said. It's gonna be interesting. Lev is wearing a Celtics uniform. What?
I think people know, you know, I quite often play terribly in the preliminaries, but when I qualify, then I play well. So I somehow cannot get a rhythm in this whole tournament, and hopefully some miracle will happen and I'll qualify, and then I promise to play well.
And how about you, Anish? What will be the plan tomorrow to qualify for quarterfinals?
No, for me, usually it's the way around. Usually I play well in preliminaries and badly in the knockouts. So I'm like, yeah, but I hope I'll make it. I mean, I see Levon smiling, but I am higher than him on the standing. So if he's smiling, I should also be smiling.
Yes. And we have something else to have you smiling, Anish. Our viewers, they're making some artwork, and we do have 2 drawings of you.
Wow.
Your fans is making some nice artwork. What do you think?
Very impressive. No, I always appreciate a good drawing. So yeah, it's really good to see. I've seen always when I see people, you know, doing this, it's very heartwarming because, you know, they spend the time. It's like you see how much work goes into it, and they could be drawing I don't know, like pigs or animals or I don't know, anything else, but they choose to draw chess players, and that's, yeah, that goes to show how much passion they have for the game, and that's nice.
You're drawing and they're drawing back.
Yeah, no, I understand the joke there, but you know, been there, done that, I think.
Good one, Levon. Anish, thank you for joining us. Best of luck on that critical day tomorrow.
Thank you. Hopefully tomorrow a little bit more draws, because today I think I didn't make a single one, and yeah, that's why I feel something is a little bit off. But I'll try my best.
Boomer humor, yeah, totally.
I like the irony.
Totally.
Very good, Anish.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now, Levon, I have a few more questions for you. So, first of all, this final game against Anish, how relieved are you that it ends up with a very important win for you?
I mean, so far I'm playing so badly that any points that I get are kind of a miracle. So I'm always relieved to get some points.
And then we have to ask you about the game against Hans Neiman. Very surprised to see you lose in, I think it was only 20 moves. What happened in that game?
Yeah, I think it was a strange game. I think Hans played very, very strange moves at some point, and I think I lost my concentration and blocked.
Was it special for you going into that game with all the drama going on and all
my
the talk
gosh.
about Hans Neiman?
You just had to say it. You can't write this.
I'm not affected by any of that. But when I'm playing badly, you know, it's there's nothing can be done. You know, I gotta work harder.
And tomorrow, of course, stacking up points will be important. You're going to finish off playing Vasily Ivanchuk. Are you looking forward to that game?
Always. It's very creative and a brilliant player that always inspires me.
Yeah, you're both a little bit of artistic players. What can we expect from the game when you two play each other?
I'll get to the subs in a second, you guys. But
we normally have fierce battles, so I hope it will be a one.
All right, yeah, that's good. That's good for now. Let's go back. Thank you so much to Mamba Forever for the 100 gifted subs. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much Dan RT for the Prime and Nick G for the Prime as well. Thank you so much to Mamba for the 100 gifted. Like I said, like at the end of the day, I mean, replay the clip. It's funny. He's like Hans played very strange moves, and that's the thing. Like it also to me, like the moves look very weird, but that's not really saying anything. It's just the whole idea of this like castles in G4 was unusual, but hey, it is what it is. Thank you so much to Icy Pimp for the 5, and thank you Plaf24 for the Prime as well. Appreciate it. So let's keep going. We still have plenty of more stuff that we need to react to. What is this? A Reddit thread? What? Oh, we have a Reddit thread that I need to cover as well. What is this? Okay. Let me change the scene. What is this? We have this Reddit thread. What am I supposed to be covering? Reddit thread about Ken with Eric Com. Oh, there's a reply from Eric here. What is this? It says, whoa. So this is Eric from chess.com, and he says, okay, so it says Ken Regan is one of 2 or 3 people in the world who have the quantitative background, chess expertise, computer skills necessary to develop anti-cheating algorithms likely to work, says Mark Glickman, a statistics professor at Boston University and chairman of the USCF Ratings Committee. This man helped create chess.com's anti-cheat to be what it is today, probably one of the very few people you should listen to when it comes to the matter of cheating in chess, instead of people that go by their guts. And then Eric replies, he says, this is not true. Ken Regan has not done any work whatsoever with chess.com's anti-cheat system, and we use different methods and models. And then he says, this guy looks legit, and Eric says, too legit to quit, though some days I wish. Oh man, so basically that's crazy. So I mean I've heard this. So basically I have heard this too, that people have said Ken Regan worked with chess.com, and it's like, wait, he doesn't and he never has worked with chess.com ever. Okay, so that actually, I mean, that doesn't change much, but he says they use different methods and models. Very interesting. Different methods and models. Wow. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so I mean I wonder what they would keep going. There's more. Okay, what about Hans's ban on chess.com? Is going to be the best kept secret for a long time? And Eric says, what's the secret? Can you guys clarify if you found new evidence of Hans cheating after he admitted to you guys back in 2020? That is the right question, but I cannot comment yet. I hope to be able to soon. What? What's going on here? Wait, I'm confused. Wait, now I'm confused. The only thing I could think of are legal issues, which leads me to think something must be going on behind the scenes between Magnus and Hans as well. Can't wait to know more. More generally, kudos for chess.com. What a huge project must have been to set up such an engine. Thanks, it's been a wild ride and never a dull moment. As a chess fan, I'm super stoked about what chess has become. As a CEO of this for 16 years, I'm tired of something. There's more to it. Oh wow, this goes on. Okay, your public statement challenged the amount and seriousness of cheating he admitted to. This suggests you found him cheating more frequently and in more serious situations, but I'm personally very curious for some clarification about the recency of games and the evidence you provided to him. Are the allegations about more games than he intimated he cheated in back when he was 16? Not sure of the exact dates. Or do they include games in the past 2 years? I wish I could comment now, but I cannot. Wait, I'm really confused now. Wait a second. I'm really confused.
Big B0 Nick just subscribed.
Am I crazy for reading this as like, isn't he kind of, first of all, it sounds like it's definitely legal, but secondly, doesn't it sound like they're saying there's like, doesn't it sound like he's saying there's something more than what's been said? I mean, or maybe I'm crazy. I mean, now I'm really confused. Like, thank you, Caden V for the 5 and Quiet Guru for the gifted sub.
Caden V has gifted 5 subs.
Is there more? There's more. Okay. Wait. Right. I sympathize with that more so than with Magnus, because at least you said something Hans can respond to. But at the same time, you not being able to clarify that basic difference remains a significant problem. In all of this, I'm willing to take on faith that you have evidence to support your claim that his statement minimized how much he cheated, but I sort of expect someone to minimize it in those circumstances, and I think the timing of the games under dispute is massively important. For example, when he says I cheated in a few random games, probably means I cheated about 50 random games and an online titled tournament, and that might seem reprehensible on the face of it, but it's a matter of degrees and it's historical data. Is there a huge difference if it was 5 games or 25? As long as it was years ago and no one has found him cheating more recently, then the fact remains that he seems to have beaten Magnus without cheating, at least so far as anyone has been able to demonstrate. And that seems like sufficient justification for him being allowed to keep competing with the world's best players. So the longer we go with only vague public accusations, the more harm is being done to his reputation and frankly to yours. I hope you'll be able to comment soon. Okay. Eric says, I hear you. As a chess fan, and if I were not on the inside at the center of this, I would be totally frustrated by the lack of comments coming from both Magnus and chess.com. I hope that can change soon. Okay, interesting. Okay, so this goes on. While I appreciate you responding in comments here, even if you can't be more helpful, it does help me feel like you and your org aren't a nameless, faceless bully. I'm still not sure why you're not able to make the public allegation you made. Why you're not able to make the public allegation you made, but not able to make it any clearer on the point of recency. Would seem like if the claim is supported by evidence, then a touch more specifically shouldn't be out of bounds. But I'm not a lawyer, just as you said, a frustrated fan. So yeah, it's very clear. I guess there's more to it, but it's very clear there's something legal. There's something legal about all of this. Okay, I get that. I know we can look like a faceless bully org, but just know that we are chess fans ourselves, doing our best for the game. It's not always easy. Lots of decisions, challenges, and hard moments like these. I'm literally just a guy typing on a computer just like you. I'm a chess fan. It's why I started this company, and I understand your frustration. I'm equally frustrated. I cannot yet say more, and it does all hinge on what you said. Legal issues. Okay. Legal issues. Okay. Reads like you guys have nothing except Magnus's word and you sided with him out of loyalty. I mean dollars. I guess that's a story you can come away with. Can you tell me where all those dollar signs are coming from, though? I'm not sure where those are in this equation. Oh, there's more. Oh my, wait, this just goes, wait, there's more. Okay, there's more. Okay. Your anti-cheat is absolute rubbish. Many times I've reported players who are cheating, and what's more blatantly so, I mean, moves around the same time, the top 2 engine choices have, etc., etc. It's honestly laughable how bad it is. Then you look at their accounts and they've been cheating for ages, so maybe hire this guy. Okay. Eric tweets out then, DM me some usernames and I'll have our team take a look. Okay. I play on Lead Chess now. I reported all players as I found them, and as far as I know, they all got banned. My point is, after playing them, it was super obvious just looking at their profile. So obvious they should have never gotten away with it for so long. Now I will interject here. One of the problems that people seem to forget is when you have hundreds of thousands of people playing on your site. You know, I think chess.com, their company has grown. I remember when I went to the chess.com meetup like maybe 5 years ago, and I think chess.com has something like 20 full-time employees. Now they have like, I think like over 100. Like, it's just not a small company anymore. It's a very big company. And I think people forget that like there's so many people who are doing so many different jobs, and thinking that it's just like 10 people and they can just focus on like an individual person's claim when I'm sure they have like a whole list of claims is insane. Yeah, they can pay 89 million. Yeah, your anti-cheat sucks. People get banned after they reported WTF LOL. Right, yeah. Okay. Okay, so it says, okay, so Eric responds, I'm glad you're still playing chess. It is a challenge for us that many people believe their opponents are cheating and we don't always agree. I'm sorry. Okay. Eric clapping back. There's more, right? Yeah. Is it, how much more of this is there? Okay, it ends. Where's the last Eric comment? It's right here. Okay. I usually hate you, but these comments are really enjoyable. I usually love you, but okay. And that's it, right? So that's the end of the thread. So wow, okay. Very interesting thread. So very interesting thread. So it seems to me, first of all, there's definitely much more to this. Without a doubt, there's much more to this than there's much more of this than we are aware of. It's very clear that it's not being talked about because there's legal stuff. Who knows? Like, I don't know if it's like defamation type stuff or if it's like actual like TOS or like EULAs or stuff like that. But it sounds like it's legal and there's a lot more to this. So I guess we have to wait and see. But wow, yeah, this is Hans is wasting his time. Find a good lawyer and he gets rich soon. I'm kind of the opposite opinion. I think this is dying out because, or not dying out, but I think Hans is not saying anything specifically because I think that everything will come out if this goes to court, and I suspect it's not going to reflect well for him. So that's my take on it. I think my take is that actually, like, the way that it's going to work in Discovery and other stuff, it's going to actually be, it will be a whole different story. So there might be an NDA, yeah. And I mean, I'm a little bit aware of this too, because as I said in my YouTube video, someone made a threat against me recently. So I talked to lawyers and I found out I learned all about the processes of all these different things and what happens. So plain and simple, I've actually I'm actually kind of aware of this too now. So it is what it is. Anyway, that was the next bit we want to go through. And we'll keep rolling. What's next? We have a tweet from Eugene Perelstein. Let's open this tweet. What is this tweet? Let me pull this tweet. Okay, we have a tweet to cover as well. What is this? Okay, we have a tweet from Eugene Perelstein, another player. I think he's a GM. I've known him for a long time as well. It says, "At Magnus Carlsen should be banned for disrespecting the players, the organizers, and the fans. Hikaru, do not talk about threats or anything legal against you. Thank you, Triviral. Appreciate it. Thank you." So what do we have? We have this, which says, it says he should be banned for disrespecting the players, the organizers, and the fans. Again, this is a very tough situation because, as I said, Magnus, there are two things here, as I alluded. First of all, players, their contracts were done long before the Sinkfield Cup. That's the first thing. The contracts were done before the Sinkfield Cup, so there was no way that like, I mean, there's no way Hans could be removed because there's obviously no proof of anything happening in the Meltwater events, and all the chess.com stuff is completely separate. So you can't remove Hans. But then for Magnus, what is Magnus supposed to do? He's the face of the company. He really, in many ways, is propping up the company. I'll just say that. I mean, the company probably is going bankrupt if he's not the face of it. And so you have Magnus in a bad spot where it's like, what is Magnus supposed to do? Is he supposed to not play, potentially harm the company? Like, I think for him, he wants basically once this deal is complete, then it's all, I think, like, he can do anything in a sense, but he still needs it to be completed. So I think he's in a bad spot. And also, he obviously wants to play chess, just he doesn't want to play against somebody who's been known to have cheated in the past. That's also very, very straightforward too. So and cheated in the past, obviously we're talking about online, to be very clear. So he does not want to play against someone who's been found to have done that. So I mean I understand that probably Magnus can handle this better. At the same time, probably the company, like for the company, he has to do it, I guess. I'm not saying it's good. I think there probably are other ways of dealing with it, but the problem is, I mean, why should he have to drop out? And obviously Hans, they can't kick him out because then they're probably getting sued. So yeah, it's bad all around. But banned for disrespect. Also, I can't tell if Eugene is being serious or joking because he puts an exclam at the end, which makes it a little bit strange too. So let's keep going. What's this? We have another one. This is a Twitch clip. Okay, let's watch this.
And we're just going to use the opposition like he does here, blocks off the advance of the white king, and we're just going to see a shuffle by both kings here. No way through. This is endgame 101. King of Pawn Endgame is so tricky, but if you know your stuff, you can save a lot of points. Yeah, this one, it's so unfair, chess. You see the most exciting game, roller coaster game. They always seem to end in draws, however. And King versus King.
Because...
Did you see that? Magnus just clapped, applauded Prag, and we have a draw.
Yeah. So that also, this is what people were referring to. It Magnus does, he's like clap, 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 easy clap, and then the thumbs up, applauding Prag. I mean, that's also kind of, I think, speaks to everything that's going on. That like Magnus very clearly that it has to do with the past, and he is nothing against any of these other junior players at all. So that's what it is. All right, so let's move on. We have Daniel. What is this? Watch this. What is this?
It's clear that Magnus is convinced of one of several things. Either that. So to me, there's like two main theories of what Magnus might be thinking. Obviously, it is clear that Magnus thinks that Hans is a cheater. What does that phrase mean? Is a cheater? Does that mean he thinks he cheated against him in St. Louis, or is Magnus forming his opinion based on past tournaments, and he thinks that Hans has somehow discredited himself by cheating prolifically over the board and online previously? I think that is the more probable theory, if I had to speculate. Is that Magnus believes that Hans cheated much more prolifically online than Hans admitted to in the interview. And I'm pretty confident that Magnus believes that Hans has cheated over the board before. Maybe not in St. Louis, but definitely before. Now, we can agree that if Hans cheated over the board previously, then that does call into question, obviously, the idea of inviting him to like top tournaments. That should hypothetically disqualify somebody from getting invites, but obviously there's no proof. But it seems that what Magnus did today is pretty consistent with his like pattern of behavior in St. Louis. Magnus feels incredibly strongly about this, and he's being consistent.
This is true. This is very true.
In his conviction. Do I trust Magnus's intuition? Well, in general, yes. I mean, I think we all kind of trust Magnus's intuition. That's why he's getting the light of day for as long as he is. If anybody other than Magnus was doing this, I think that person wouldn't be taken seriously at all. Catching someone red-handed is...
Yeah, like, can you imagine if that was me? Like, I'm just going to say this because I'm sure this will get clipped. Like, if that was me, our chess would just... They would all have their pitchforks out and literally be doing everything in their power to cancel me. But because it's Magnus, like, it's bad, but it's still not at those levels. Yeah, if it was me, yeah, you're just salty you lost. Yeah, if it was me... I mean, if it was me, yeah, don't even pretend to think that it would be kind of okay. Everyone would have killed me. Yeah, exactly. So let's keep going.
Vanishingly, the likelihood of that is vanishingly small. So
wait, what? Cheating, sorry, what did Daniel say? Let me go back.
That person wouldn't be taken seriously at all. Catching someone red-handed is vanishingly, the likelihood of that is vanishingly small. So with cheating, proof exists on kind of a spectrum. Well, imagine somebody played a tournament and they're rated 1600, and every single move they made in that tournament corresponds to the Stockfish top line. Is that proof that that person cheated? Well, most people, I feel like your intuition probably is to say no. They just could have played a perfect turn.
Wait a second. Wait. Dan is saying if a 1600 plays a top move every move, that's not proof? I mean, I didn't listen to everything, but I'm just trying to understand what he said. Let me go. Yeah, he's going to justify it. Okay. Because to me, that's like 100% proof. Yeah, okay, let's keep going.
Tournament corresponds to the Stockfish top line. Is that proof that that person cheated? Well, most people, I feel like your intuition probably is to say no. They just could have played a perfect tournament. But at the same time, you understand that that's ridiculous. That is as close as it comes to proof, but you didn't catch that person red-handed.
Right, that's true. Actually, he's completely right on that. He's completely right with what he's saying. You're right. Someone who's not in the chess world, they hear that, they're like, okay, whatever. That doesn't mean anything. But yes, within the chess world, that obviously does.
You have to understand that catching someone in the act of cheating over the board almost never happens. The only kind of proof or semi-proof that's realistically procurable is the record of someone's moves and the correspondent. The correlation to the computer's choices. Now, we can agree that if Hans cheated over the board previously, then that does call into question, obviously, the idea of inviting him to like top tournaments. that should hypothetically disqualify somebody from getting invites, but obviously there is no proof. Kenneth Regan said that Hans never cheated from statistical analysis in the last 2 years, yesterday on CCT stream. So here's my problem with I do trust Kenneth Regan. I think that is a major argument in favor of saying that Hans didn't cheat, over the board, case closed. But here's the other thing. Cheating has evolved from let me make all of the Stockfish top moves to much more complicated methods. For example, let me play the first 20 moves in a mediocre fashion. Let me play on my own. Let me get a slightly worse position or an equal position. And then let me use the engine at 6 or 7 points in the next 25 moves, right? I feel like that's virtually undetectable. The problem with Kenneth Regan's algorithm, and I've heard this criticism made of him by people in the know, is that it's a little bit too predicated on the idea that somebody who's cheating is just going to play the top move every time, which is nowhere near how a top player would cheat if they're smart. So I think a huge question right now, and the ball is still in Hans's court in this regard, is for him to clarify the record on his online cheating. I think in terms of putting more facts on the table and realistically asking for stuff to be revealed, the only thing we could realistically ask for that would somewhat enrich our view of the situation is for Hans to address the chess.com statement and to specifically clarify, like, what is his official position on the amount of times that he cheated online.
Sneers just resubbed for 6 months.
Well, there's nothing to tell behind the scenes. I have no inside information. We could get him on stream. Hans has not responded to the chess.com statement as far as I know. Not a list of all of the games. Okay, that's pretty draconian. Like,
this is true, yeah.
Whether whether he misrepresented the amount of times that he cheated, whether it was only twice or whether it was more than that. And I have a pretty good feeling that it's more than twice. I have a feeling that Hans might have underrepresented the amount of times that he cheated online, and if so, I think it would be really important for him to clarify that. Because otherwise, the situation becomes more complicated. Because you can always then say, oh, well, Hans not only cheated, but then he lied about it, So it's
I mean, basically, to give context, because not everybody's heard this. I mean, most people have heard it, obviously, but not everyone has. Like, Hans said he did this whole emotional interview after his game against, I think it was Dominguez, maybe, I forget who it was against, and he said he had only cheated twice. It was in random games and it was of nothing of importance. But chess.com put out the statement saying, essentially, I mean, again, as I understand it, it's not true, and the scope and as Danny said, the prolificness of it is a lot more, most likely. Now, nobody knows, obviously, but that's the assumption that everyone's going off of, is that most likely because of what are Parham and Saad Wani going to get chased like this? No, because I think in both those cases, I think it was only on lead chess, and I think it was one time as far as I understand it. He said twice. He said he's only cheated once when he was 12, once when he was 16. That's all he said. But chess.com, essentially, it sounds like it's saying it's the exact opposite. He's cheated a lot more than that. So yeah, I mean, who knows? But actually, this is the end.
His record.
Yeah, I mean, this is it's. I mean, I agree a lot with what Dan says, and I'm as I said, like, again, I've heard the same stuff that Dan is saying, where basically it sounds like the model that Kenneth Regan has, and obviously it's a very good method for catching people who are like blatantly cheating. But like, if someone cheats for like 3 moves in an entire game, they do, I'll just coin a term, but quote unquote smart cheating. It sounds like you cannot. I mean, you can't detect it, and you can't detect it. At some point going into the future, what is really stopping people from cheating, period? What is stopping people from cheating over the board in chess? I mean, if you can't detect it other than catching someone red-handed, literally with a phone in their hand or their pocket, or something in their something on them, like, I mean, what is the only thing stopping people from cheating, basically, is morals and character. And if we get to that stage, I frankly think chess is going to die. I don't think professional chess is going to keep existing, honestly. I really don't think so. I don't see how you can have chess if it is, if smart cheating is possible and it's undetectable. I think we're done. I think we're just done. I really do. But yeah, he said there's a second model used that weighs scores towards key moves, important decisions, instead of equally weighting all moves. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the solution is to this. I really don't know. But yeah, Danya's, it's not undetectable. I mean, I don't know. I think, but essentially, if we look at the tournaments people are talking about, they're talking about Cuba and then Charlotte. I think those two tournaments are two events which like there are the Punin videos, the Ukrainian IM or FM who did those videos on. And like, where was I going with this? I was going somewhere with this. I forget where I was going. I was going somewhere, but like, if you're telling me. I just no, sorry, I already forgot where I was going. I lost my train of thought. Yeah, I was saying something about Cuba or Charlotte, the two tournaments where people are like, I saw the Punin videos on that. Like, I mean, I don't. If Regan's model basically it's saying, like, I would be curious to know what the critical moments are on those games specifically. Like, I'm really curious. Don't go all Fisher crazy. I mean, I won't go crazy. No, of course not. But I think we all want to like know what like, I'd be curious to hear what his explanations are, because that's the thing. That's the real question. I'd be curious to know. Have I seen the beach pictures of Magnus and Hans August 22nd on Archest? No, I have not. I can pull it up on my other monitor. I mean, that also actually that really makes me worried. That also kind of concerns me. That also concerns me, honestly, because I see this picture. Like, what that sort of tells me that if they were playing on the beach, I mean, I feel like maybe Magnus thought Hans. I mean, I really think maybe Magnus thought Hans, like, he played him on the beach. So they played like 10-20 games, whatever it might be, and that after that, like, maybe Magnus thought, like, he thought he knew Hans's level, and suddenly Hans is playing at a level that he thought was way higher or completely different. Like, it is possible, obviously, that that's the case. I mean, who knows? But I actually kind of believe that in a sense. So we'll see. This whole mess has been a great crash course on how to cheat. I know it's not good. All right, so we have one more. We've got two more things we're going to cover on this. Then we're just going to delve away from this, and maybe I'll talk about XQC. What is this? We have something else on Reddit. What is this? Turkish streamer Sabo revealed Talisman Zero, a module for cheating in chess tournaments. Website claims that it was used by a very well-known player in 2020 and 2021 before detection. What the heck? Okay. Talisman Zero use cases. What's this? A well-known chess player used Talisman Zero on several occasions in 2020 and 2021 without detection. One mastery player has used our device at the beginning of games to establish a moderate advantage and took over manually to finish the games with a win. I'm going to assume this is a joke, right? Or is this serious? Also, you know what's really scary about this too? I'm going to assume this is a joke, but when it says 3,300 plus ELO, this is the other part that's really scary, is that honestly, even if you use a very poor chess engine that's 3,000, a chess engine that's 3,000 is going to just smoke you. It doesn't have to be a 3,800 engine. If the engine's 3,000, that's good enough. So I mean, you could use any engine. It doesn't have to be Stockfish. It doesn't have to be the best one. So it's pretty scary. I don't know if this is real or not. Probably it's a joke, but it is what it is. Okay, one more thing, and then we wrap it up. What is this?
It's always harder to make these videos when I'm personally involved.
I'm gonna refresh this.
It's always harder to make these videos when I'm personally involved in them. It's even harder when I have to talk about a story involving one of my best friends. And that's exactly what we have to do here today. Welcome back to Mogul Mail, everybody. Today we are talking about Magnus Carlsen, a.k.a. #1 best chess player all time, a.k.a. my best friend, who's been in some drama recently in the chess world.
Isn't everyone his best friend?
This is new and exciting.
Isn't everyone his best friend? I think everyone's his best friend, honestly. Everyone's his best friend. Let me just make this a little bit bigger. Yeah, I mean, everyone's his best friend.
What is it? What is it? Well, let's start with this clip right here. All right, this happened today.
Here we go.
Because this is his main move.
This is the second move of a match in a tournament between Magnus Carlsen and Hans Neiman.
D4, knight f6, c4. Yeah, definitely.
No, I get the joke. I get the joke, you guys.
And if you haven't noticed, at the top right here, it says lost. And that's because Magnus Carlsen resigned from the game.
What?
And then immediately turned off his camera and left.
He said no one left.
No one leaves. Goodbye. But why? Why would the world's best player do that in a chess game where he probably has a great chance at winning? Well, for that, let's get some background on the two main players in this story, which is one, Magnus Carlsen. Again, best chess player in the world, highest rating. He's the 10-year running champion who has a bit of drama against Hans Neiman. He was an American.
I love how he
player
takes the FIDE
who
list.
had
Yeah.
the greatest win of his career just 2 weeks ago when he beat Magnus Carlsen. That's right. Hans beat Magnus, which, you know, like if you don't know chess, it's like whatever. A guy loses, that happens. No. Magnus Carlsen had not lost a classical game of chess in 53 games. All right. And it's his first loss with white in over 2 years. 2 years he hasn't lost. And then he loses to some kid. I mean, Hans is 19 years old. And it's probably his like worst rated loss ever. All right. Basically, it's like losing to the Browns in anything, or in by that measure, any Ohio team. Not that Hans isn't a great player, more so just how young he is and for the rating he was at. And it shot Hans to over 2,700 rating and made him one of the best players in the world. Technically a super GM, level of GM. But it was a bit weird because although he won, what Magnus did after is withdrew from the tournament and then tweeted out this video, popular meme.
I prefer really not to speak. If I speak, I am in big trouble. In big trouble.
Which led a lot of people to speculate that Magnus thought Hans was cheating. And the speculation went so far that other GMs like Hikaru were on stream talking about it, insinuating that Hans was cheating because he's maybe even done it in the past. All right. They were running theories. This is real, by the way, that he was using anal beads that vibrate when he had the correct move.
That's probably a good one, right? An anal bead probably would beat the thing. I'm serious. If the engine,
Which, crazy. This is real, by the way. An insider article about it. There was even a campsite that offered him $1 million to play chess naked to prove he didn't cheat, which is just a marketing plug. He's 19, kind of weird, all right, to that campsite. But why all the accusations? Well, Hans will admit it here himself.
When I was 12, I've never, ever in my life cheated in an over-the-board game, in an online tournament. They were in unrated games. And I'm admitting this, and I'm saying my truth because I do not want any misrepresentation. I am proud of myself that I learned from that mistake and now have given everything to chess.
So he admits that he cheated. He basically admits that he cheated. And any time that you say, I cheated, but not a great start to a sentence, that you have to qualify when you cheated. He says he's never cheated in over-the-board games, which is like where all the prestigious tournaments are held, and that he cheated a couple times online, specifically when he was 12 to boost his rating so he could play better people, and when he was 16 and streaming because I think he had felt pressure to be better and make more money and make it a viable career, which sounds like a long time ago. Like, I cheated when I was 16. He's 19. So it was 3 years ago. I knew him when he was 16. In fact, he spoke different. This is like a different conspiracy.
Oh no!
Here
we go.
A little bit more about, but I have a video on my channel of me playing Hans when he was 16 years old. It came out like a couple years ago.
I remember this too. I remember this.
So in chess, like you have like titles.
Yeah.
Like Grandmaster's the highest one, International Master's the second highest one, and like to get those titles, you need to perform like at a certain level in like 3 different tournaments called norms.
Makes sense. He also just sounds like a normal, like American kid. What happened?
When I was 12, I've never, ever in my life cheated in an over-the-board game.
He sounds all fancy now. I don't know. Maybe when you get GM, you like have to put on a bit of an accent. You gotta speak a little fancy. Maybe some social accent or something. Anyway, that's it. He says, I admit to cheating. It was in the past. I'm clean now. Drama should be over, right? Wrong. Chess.com.
It goes on.
The last few days have been tumultuous in the chess community. At this time, we've reached out to Hans to explain our decision to remove him from chess.com in our events. We shared our details with him concerning our decision, including information that contradicts his statements, aka you cheated more than you admitted to cheating, and we are mad at you for not admitting how much you cheated, and so we are now permabanning you from our website. Which begs the question, when he cheated originally, why didn't you leak it? Were you just protecting him because he was a kid? Why don't you just show us the information now? That would make a lot of things more clear, rather than everyone who's on the sidelines speculating. Makes the drama a lot hotter, though. I'll admit that. All right? And then here is an interesting tidbit. This one I think it goes to the point. Did he cheat? Because that's the main question. Did he cheat? Why did Magnus withdraw? Why did GMs accuse him of maybe cheating? Did he cheat? Listen to this.
It's not bad, yeah. He played quite well.
Can I turn up the volume on this? Is the volume not okay? Yeah, I can turn the volume up. Sorry. I thought it was good, but I'll turn it up.
I didn't...
Draw. Makes the drama a lot hotter, though. I'll admit that. All right? And then here is an interesting tidbit. This one I think it goes to the point. Did he cheat? Because that's the main question. Did he cheat? Why did Magnus withdraw? Why did GMs accuse him of maybe cheating? Did he cheat? Listen to this.
It's not bad, yeah. He played quite poorly, so I didn't do anything special.
Where's the voice from?
I think I played quite well, but I was actually very fortunate that this opening came on the board, and I looked at this today. And
you guessed this opening today?
No, I didn't guess it.
You're born in San Francisco.
Some miracle. I had checked this today, and it's such a ridiculous miracle that I don't even remember why I checked it. I just when I saw.
Now here he is saying that in the game that he beat Magnus Carlsen, again 2 weeks ago, in the game that he beat Magnus, he had miraculously decided to check the opening line. Because when you're really good at chess, you sometimes prepare for certain opening lines, aka the first 20 moves of the games. I know everything that's going to happen and everything that you're going to do, and we're going to do the same thing. And then after that, we can no longer work from memory. We have to figure out the puzzle that is before us. He prepared for this one that Magnus was going to do. One key issue with that, Magnus has never, ever played that line in his life.
He's never played the G3 Nimzo ever. Wait a second. I mean, he's never played G3, and Hans is claiming that he prepped it up to move 20 before.
Kind of weird. I don't.
It's
think
called
that
transmission. I mean, I don't need to talk about it. I don't need to talk about it again. But like I said, like it's unlikely, but it is plausible via transmission. There are only two things. Like if he really prepped it, he would not have been looking at Magnus's games. If that is legitimate, it would have been that because he's been looking at Dubov's games, not because he's been looking at Magnus's games. But anyway, let's keep going.
He's cheating by the by, but he prepared for a line that Magnus has never done that he happened to do that day and then beat him. It's just kind of weird. Now, I saw the event. They had like metal detectors and shit. I don't think that guy stuck anal beads in his ass to cheat him. I don't think he did that. It'd be insane if he did. Honestly, could make a TV show about that. King's Gambit, who knows? Here's the theory. Again, all speculative. All right? That I think is the most accurate. Okay? And this comes from some random-ass commenter. And, you know, I'll trust it because I do trust random comments on Reddit, and that's how I make my investment strategies, so it's not too much of a stretch for me.
WSV?
Magnus suspected there was a mole, a leaker in his inner circle, someone very close to him. Not me. I'm his best friend, but we don't actually do prep together. So he prepped an obscure line he had never played before, and his suspicions were confirmed when Hans fell for the trap. Hans admitted in the post-game interview that it was a miracle that he prepped for that opening the morning prior to the game. Yeah, sure. Magnus did not bolt the tournament because he lost the game. He stormed out due to his feelings of a supreme betrayal. In time, we will find out who Judas was. Judas betrayed Jesus for 30 silver coins. Okay, chess fans are kind of nerdy, all right? It's like an off-breed of theater kids who have a little more vanity and think they're a little bit smarter. Come on, you got to give them some slack there. Anyway, that's it. That's the tea. And so now, seems like for the foreseeable future, anytime Magnus plays Hans, he's just going to resign, which makes tournament standings really weird and tournament structures weird, and everything's very awkward, all right? It's like when you go to a friend's house and their parents start fighting, but you still got to finish your plate. It's going to be really fucking awkward every time you're there, but that's how it's going to be. And that's it. It's all speculative as it stands until chess.com releases how Hans cheated and how it contradicts what he said, or Magnus reveals what he thinks, but he probably won't do that because why would he do that? I mean, he's basically retired. He withdrew from being the world champion. He's not going to play in that match. He's just playing for funsies. So nothing, onus isn't on him. Hans can't prove that he didn't cheat if he actually didn't cheat. And if he did cheat, why would he prove that he did cheat? Might as well keep it a secret. So what's he going to do? All right. Kind of feels like we're at a standstill. Here's one option. All right, Magnus, Hans, play at the Ludwig $100,000 salty sweet money match. All right. And you both play with me and you can't cheat. And you know what? You both have to use anal beads. That way you can't use your own. And well, now that's just getting weird. Anyway, that's my idea. What do you guys think? Thanks for watching.
That was a really good way. That was really, really a funny way to end it with the video. Yeah, I thought he was going to say you were going to have to play like naked or something, but no, that was pretty good. That was good. So that's pretty much the gist of the drama that I have, that I'm going to cover today. Let me change the scene, obviously, put some music on as well. So I mean, that's generally like the gist of everything. I mean, At the end of the day, someone just said it via transposition. Like I said before, like it is a plausible theory, but it's the only reason that this. I think he said something like, what did he say? He said the normal Catalan. I mean, I don't remember the exact move order he gave, but when he talked about the normal Catalan with d5, g3, bishop b4, like the way that you get it via the transposition is with knight c3. That's how you get it. Now, again, I don't have Mega on this computer, so I can't look at Mega. But when I looked in the online chess-based database, I saw like 6 games with Magnus playing bishop d2, 0 with knight c3. The person who did, however, play knight c3 many games was his second. Daniil Dubov. I saw like 7 or 8 games with knight c3. So if Hans was looking at Dubov's games, it's definitely realistic. But if he was looking at Magnus's games, at least from the chess-based database I looked at, he's only played bishop d2. He's never played knight c3. So that's that. All right, that's all I really want to talk about on the chess drama. That's the general gist of it. At any rate, that's all I have for the drama. We're gonna see what happens. You know, I assume either Hans is gonna say something, chess.com is gonna say something, or we're just gonna be at a standstill. I don't think Magnus is gonna say anything in the near future. I just somehow don't really buy it. So I don't think it's happening. I think we're gonna be in this spot for a while. Twitch drama next. I mean, I don't really want to talk much about the Twitch drama. I think what I would say is, you know, there was this drama with Slicker, of course, the streamer who basically took 300k off of other streamers, moderators, other viewers of his channel. I mean, very, very, very bad to see. Now we know that, like, obviously, I think it was no, it wasn't Miskiff, was it? It was XQC and Trainwrecks. They decided they were going to like pay everybody back for the money that he had stolen. On the one hand, like, I understand why they're doing it. It's obviously very bad. Hearing about, it's Ludwig too, yeah, and hearing about like the what was it? Hearing about like this cancer patient where you had, or sorry, it's not Trainer, it's XCC and Ludwig, sorry. Was like it's great that the people are getting their money back. On the other hand, I mean, it's a big question mark what's going to happen to Slicker, because obviously he took all this money. I don't know if he's going to be like if he's going to get banned from Twitch or not. I mean, that really remains to be seen. I don't have a strong opinion either way, but I do feel like Hassan made a good point, which was Hassan made this point about how like it didn't seem like Slicker was really apologetic for it. I actually felt the same way when I listened to some of that stuff. It seemed to me that Slicker was like he is sorry for what happened. It didn't feel like it was really resonating, and so I'm kind of skeptical that things are going to change necessarily. I don't think he necessarily learned that lesson, so remains to be seen. But it didn't really feel like genuine to me. So that's my 2 cents on like Slicker stuff. As far as the bigger topic goes, I mean, I know that like they're two sides. So like basically it felt like there were streamers like Hassan and Pokimane who were taking it where it's like they're basically taking Slicker, and the reason he took money from people was because he was sports betting. So he was betting on like tennis and like other sporting events. Apparently that's where he was losing his money. It was not on slots or things like Trainwrecks and XQC are doing. But it seemed like some streamers were trying to connect like the sports betting with like pure gambling, and to me that seemed kind of weird that was a transition. It's like you take sports betting and then you're translating it to like slots, which, make no mistake, I'm no fan of gambling. I will not be doing any of that stuff on my stream in terms of slots specifically, but like to take the sports betting and comparing it to like the slots and trying to get it sorry, what was I saying, to basically get it banned off of all of Twitch. I don't like it. So like I wouldn't go so far as to say like I'm some huge fan of like what XQC or Trainwrecks are doing, but taking sports betting and trying to then translate it to like slots should be outright banned. I don't really agree with that. I don't agree. Am I sure? I seemed like everybody was saying that Slicker lost his money betting on tennis and other sports. That's what it seems like. That's what I heard. That's what I heard. But I mean, I could be wrong on that. That's not to say that like I think gambling is good, but to try and connect the two and use the Slicker situation as a reason to get like slots banned, I don't know. It doesn't feel right to me somehow. Even though I'm no fan of gambling, it doesn't feel right. So you know, it is what it is. But we'll see what happens going forward. But any betting must be. I mean, I do hope Twitch finds a way to like if they aren't going to to ban it, they find some way that you have to verify your 18 plus, etc. Because obviously gambling, it does ruin lives. It's not a good thing. It definitely is not a good thing. But I just find the whole take of trying to ban it because of the Slicker situation, or use that as like the springboard to like push Twitch to ban it. that just strikes me as being kind of wrong. I'm not a fan. So like, I'm not gonna say that I'm like, you know, I approve of it all, but like I do feel like on this issue, I think XQC and Train are probably in the right objectively, because, you know, it feels like trying to connect the two doesn't make sense to me. So that's my 2 cents on the general stuff of all of it. So, you know, maybe now that'll end up being on live stream fails and someone will say something, but I don't know. Anyway, it is what it is. What's that? His interview wasn't the reason he got banned. I don't know what you're referring to with that, but we'll see. Like I obviously won't do that in regards to slots, of course, because like I gotta be way spicier to get to LSF today. Okay, fair enough, but it is what it is at any rate. So that's that. Anyway, you guys, we have Title Tuesday, which is starting in about 29 minutes. So I've been live nonstop since early, and I don't kind of want to tilt it away. So I'm gonna put up a video for the next like 25 minutes while I go refresh, get ready for the second Title Tuesday, and I'll be back very shortly, you guys.